Hi, Mac. Thank you for the resub. Holy moly. 14 months? You're crazy. Thank you, Titans. Thank you. Can we get some whitens in chat? Kind of the appropriate day to say white. Am I right? Thank you for the resub, Go Bobo. Thank you. 11 months. Wait. Sub for 12 months? New badge. New badge. Triple sunflower badge. Finally. Holy. Hi, Go Bobo. Thank you. Can we get some more Bobos in chat? Wait. Stop the music. Guys, if we get one more subscription, a Prime sub, or a bit share, we'll get a hype train. Spoilers? Am anybody gonna do anything fun for holiday? Guys, I'm streaming. That's how I celebrate. I don't celebrate this? Based. I mean, that's what... That's kind of the reason why I decided to stream today, because I was gonna wait till tomorrow, but then I was like, I don't celebrate anyway. Pride month is over? I know. I know. We all gotta go back into hiding now. But you know what? Y'all are safe here, don't worry. I still have Pride alerts enabled. I forgot to swap them out. Having the 4th right after Pride? Well, what else are we gonna do? The founding fathers decided on purpose to make the 4th right after Pride. It's their fault. Guys, new tweet, new tweet. Go like it, that way everybody knows I'm live on a holiday. I should get time and a half, right? Your job is open right now? Sad. I had to go shopping earlier today. I'll talk about it in a bit. One more minute, guys. One more minute. You're about to have the craziest paycheck of your life? Let's go! Get that bag. $20 seconds left to get a hype train, guys. Here, I'll turn face cam on. Okay, for real, I'll turn face cam on. I'll do it. I'll do it for the fans. Hello. Good afternoon, good evening. Hope everyone is doing well today. Hello. It is holiday. It is 4th of July, everybody. Thank you everybody for clocking in. We had Mac, Kobobo, Kim, Titans, and the Just Starting Soon screen. Thank you guys for chatting. Thank you all. The flannel. This was the only red thing I have because I was... Okay, so today I was going to buy, like, things for stream. But I was like, okay, I'll go to the dollar store. And they all have shit I need. So I got these little... I got a headband. I mean, I was looking for like a, you know those cliche 4th of July shirts that you see at Walmart? I was gonna get one of those, but I don't live near Walmart, so I went to like 4 stores, and all their shirts were like $10, and I'm not spending $10 on a stream, okay? I'm not doing that shit. So I got a headband. I was also, I went to 4 stores. I went to 4 stores looking for glow sticks. Nobody had any fucking glow sticks. So a bit I was gonna do, I can't do the bit. It's fine. It was a dumb bit, so it doesn't matter. The dollar stores? No, it didn't! I remember being little and going to the dollar store and getting glow sticks, and that was the only thing we could get, but they didn't have any. But I still spent $20. Your store has so many, you should have shipped some to me, man. Mac didn't restock the shelves. I mean, honestly, my dollar store is kind of shit. It's kind of trash. But you know, it's aight. It's aight. You're mad, Gabe, for that flannel mod? Seriously, bad Mac. It's not Pride Month anymore. You can't say that shit. But hello. It's been a while since I've gone live. Wait, the last time I streamed was Friday. Oh yeah, we launched the art website, guys. Guys, what is this? What is this? Is this peaceandart.myshopify.com exclamation shop in chat? What is this? Are these new paintings? Oh my god, guys. Click on the link, bookmark the page right now. We have 4 new paintings. They are the ones you do see in the background now. This is our new lineup. For some reason, chat really liked the green one. You like the green one too? Oh, Potato won the free painting. I finished it the other day, but then I was like, okay, I'll mail it Tuesday, but it's holiday. So, Potato, if you're lurking, your painting will be mailed out tomorrow. I would never scam. Yeah, I know you're gonna get this one. Mac. But guys, don't worry. Next drop will be in August. It's in August, so if you missed out on a painting, don't worry. You can maybe get one, or you can buy one. Use code Twitch10 for $10 off. Hashtag not an ad. It is my own business. Guys, this holiday. It is 4th of July. And you know what we need to do? You know what we need to do today? Before anything else, I think we need to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Or no, the National Anthem. We need to... Shit, I need to find it. Wait. Hold. Everybody get ready to stand for the National Anthem. Also, you might hear mortars because... Oh, sorry, my video audio played. One of my neighbors for the past whole week, like 2 doors down, has been firing off mortars in Minecraft up until like midnight. Okay? And it's so fucking loud. Wait. Okay, wait. I'm trying to find the video. I'm trying to find one, okay? Oh, wait, no spoilers. Okay, I have it now. I have it now. Hi, Angie. Welcome in. Welcome in. Guys, the Fergie National Anthem? Okay, wait. Let me find that one then. I was gonna do this one. I was gonna do this one. You guys know the Creator Clash one? No, this is for real patriots. This stream is for real patriots. Okay. I did clear my search history, do not worry. Is it this one? 2018? Let's do this one.
To perform the Star-Spangled Banner is an acclaimed singer, songwriter, actress, and 8-time Grammy
Everybody
Award winner
please
from
stand
Hacienda Heights, California.
and salute for the anthem. Don't show it, they'll claim. Fuck! Everybody.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly wail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
I'm not laughing. I'm gonna cry, it's so good. Yeah, true. She does need, like, the band binder. About that for the longest time. Now I remember people memeing about it. Do you guys want to watch the Airsoft Fatty one? Let's play some basketball. It wasn't that bad, it just lacked a band. I agree, but it's still like, I think it's really funny when people do their own spins on the anthem. You know, my personal favorite was this one.
Ladies.
Okay, this, if anybody watched Creator Clash, I lost my mind when I saw these two come on stage. Oh my god, because personally, I love Super Mega. I watched a lot of the older stuff. They lost 250K, yeah. I mean, big L, but you know, charity.
How y'all doing?
Who? Shut up! Didn't they kiss? No spoilers! No spoilers!
Right? So sing along if you know the words.
They used to like edit with
this,
Markiplier, but now they do their own shit. Is
guitar
this much?
All set up, so.
No! Stop.
Right.
I think some of my chatters would like Super Mega because they always commit to the bit, okay? And they're pretty chill.
You ready, Ryan?
This is the guy that, yes! The clip where Joe Rogan is like, How can he beat the shit out of his own son? The guy on the left is kind of hot. What? Don't itemize YouTubers, guys. Oh, salute, back to saluting. Guys, I like Ryan more. Shut up. Shut up, Meg. PG-13. Keep saluting, guys. Be respectful. Fergie back. That's hot. Yeah, the chest bit was weird. I'll admit it was weird. It was a weird bit. But they do the kissing bit all the time, and some of their videos are audio only, and the kiss sounds so real. Smash both. No, I think they're both cute. But I think Ryan is more my type. Anyway, guys, it's 4th of July. We did the anthem. Everybody stand up and clap. Does anybody remember the Pledge of Allegiance? I should have made that. Guys, Pride Month is over. It's over now. We can't say that anymore. Behave. If you're gonna do it, then go all in. I mean, they do commit to the bit. You guys should watch some of their YouTube. Okay, we'll save Airsoft Fatty for next year. You guys can search up the YouTube video for the Airsoft Fatty Anthem. It's clips from the Creator Clash. You guys should go watch it. I know last year's Creator Clash, iDubbbz uploaded it in full to his YouTube channel like a day after. So you guys can find highlights on his channel. You guys are both like, where's the Airsoft Fatty? Do you guys really want to watch it? Do you guys really want to? Nah, I'll find it. I'm kidding, I won't. Wait, I will. That science guy from last year was hot? You mean I did a thing? Okay, I found the video. I found it.
For the main event.
Everybody get ready to salute again.
Ladies and gentlemen,
why didn't you play Smash or Pass on Valentine's Day? Next year. Yeah, look up I Did a Thing on YouTube. His videos are really good. He just had a new one last week. Buddy, salute?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, for so proudly we fared as the twilight's last gleam. Sorry, I got nervous, people, my bad.
It's so cute. You're gonna kiss a guy too. No. No. This was last year's.
Let's go.
You know what they say, go woke, go broke.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, for so proudly we stand, while the dawn's fast gleam.
Okay, the white bar in the bottom of the screen is part of the video. If there's no kiss, I don't want to watch. Pride Month is over. He's got a super mega sweater. I come here only to watch people kiss? Wrong website. Oh, it's over? Oh no, he's going again. I forgot. Did you get bullied because of this? No, everybody was in on the bit, I think. Streaming and the rockets. I don't know the words. This is well that we all know this. We're in a cold. First chatter to recite the Pledge of Allegiance gets $1 million. You better be done now. You better be done. Holy shit, Dr. Mike. Oh my god, I forgot how shredded he was. Holy shit. My turn? Oh no. Oh no. Now, my father was in the Navy. And I remember, you guys remember in elementary school, did you guys have like the Veterans Day assemblies where you had like every grade had to sing a certain song? I was so happy because the year we had to sing for the Navy, or we got to sing for the Navy, so I was like, oh my god, my dad was in the Navy. I don't remember the song though. Dr. Mike can be my doctor. I mean, he does live in New York, I think. Okay, sing a song. I will find a song to sing. I'm not singing an American song, because even though it's 4th of July, I will not give in to the hierarchy. Okay, a song that I was listening to this morning that I really liked was, or is, Done For Me by Charlie Puth featuring Kehlani. I was learning Kehlani's verse, so I'm gonna try it. Chatters, if you could, put your favorite animated, your favorite hype emotes in the chat, that'd be great. I do have previous links to all my other singing clips in the chat. Yes, that is right, Angie. You win $1 million. Holy shit. I'll write the check right now. Okay. I'm gonna sing a song. If everybody could put your emotes in the chat, that'd be great. You work at Popeyes now? Are you trolling, Kim? Oh, no, Kim. You gotta spill later. Oh, no. She's not joking? Oh, no. She got fired? Oh, no. Okay, Kim, you gotta give us a lore update. Be typing your paragraph. Okay, let me sing the song now. Stop stealing the show. Okay. Where is it? Okay, I'm gonna try it. I'm not good at this verse yet, but I'm trying. This is Done For Me by Charlie Puth. This is Kehlani's verse. I never cheated. Deleted everyone cause they made you uncomfortable. No, baby, no. These accusations. I can't apologize for something that I didn't do. No, baby, no. I won't beg for your love, won't say please. I won't fall on the ground on my knees. You know I've given this everything, baby, honestly. Baby, honestly. Ooh, that was... I tried. The second half is hard. You sing pretty well. Thank you, Angie. Thank you. I was gonna take choir in high school, but it was either choir or drawing, so I picked drawing. But singing choir in school is lame as shit. You do like ahs, and then that's it. And then everybody cringes as like the performances at the assemblies. But thank you. I'll practice that one. I'll get really good at it. I'm gonna be a pop singer, everybody. What's the singer? What's her name? She started streaming and she's like a 50K Andy. Oh, what is her name? I don't know her name. Back to Kim. Yeah, Kim, give us a lore update. Give us a lore update. Okay, so we did the national anthem. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I'm not looking, I'm not reading. United States of America. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, there's like one line. And it's like, one nation under God. Fuck, I don't remember it because when I was in school, because they only did, because they did, let me put music on. I failed. You already are a pop star. Because in high school, they only did announcements during... It wasn't first period. I think it was... No, it was during first period. That was dumb. Because they would give, like, first period an extra 5 minutes. So they would do the pledge and then do, like, the daily announcements. And I had my art teacher for first period. And that was cool. Because he was like, if you don't want to stand, you don't gotta stand. If you don't want to say it, you don't gotta say it. Because he was also very lived up. He's the art teacher, right? He didn't give a shit. But he was really chill about it. But I remember there was one teacher. It was in like middle school. And the teacher got in trouble for this after. But he was like making kids stand when they didn't want to. And then he got in trouble. Anyway. I never like said it. But I would just stand. Because it felt weird to not stand. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can't force the kids. That's why the teacher got in trouble. Okay, Kim lore. I responded to a job on Indeed and it was Popeyes. I guess they needed construction, on their spicy chicken sandwich. Oh, that's so much. I mean, does it pay well? Like, so now I just make sandwiches. Are you part of, like, the test kitchen? You always see the videos of, like, I see, like, ads for, like, the Wendy's test kitchen. And it looks so good. Like, I would love to do that shit. She couldn't even last a week at her new job. You know what? Sometimes things don't work out for a reason. And that's okay. That's okay. You know, at Subway, I was already a full-time artist. I was a sandwich artist. And now I have a degree. Okay, you guys, let's get on to the main meat of today's show. Today it is 4th of July. We're celebrating Independence Day. So, in order to fully understand what Independence Day, we're gonna do a little bit of a history lesson. So everybody get your notepad and pens out. I know this is summer vacation, but we're gonna do a little bit of summer homework, okay? Let's learn a little bit about 4th of July. So today I have a few historical videos queued up, and there will be a quiz. There will be a quiz after today's lesson, so everybody, take notes. I expect to see pictures of your notes after class. If you don't submit notes, you get banned. I'm not joking. Now, I think Kim should just mail us all free Popeyes. Give us the new shit. Not history class. This summer classes, guys. You guys all failed history. Gotta take it again with your favorite teacher, Peacein. I'm not taking notes? Well, I am. I am, okay? This was... Look how thick this journal is. It's almost an inch thick. Okay. History lesson time, everybody. Damn, just didn't. I didn't say that. I was reading chat. Also, everybody, we are 30 minutes into stream, so if you're new here, click the follow button. You get cool emotes and the ability to type in chat. I'll DM you coupons after class. Thank you, Kim. Okay. Now, this is one of my favorite series on YouTube. This is Crash Course. I'm sure some of y'all know these. A lot of these videos are from years ago. This series is from 10 years ago. But because I graduated when I was 18, Lamau. I graduated in 2017. So these videos were already out or coming out around the time I was in high school. So for my AP history class in 11th grade, my teacher recommended we all watch these videos as like refreshers. So this is really good. It's like really educational, brief history. It's like it doesn't show any gore or anything, so you're not going to see like bloody bodies like you see in your history books. And it's very curt, straightforward, and the graphics are nice. Let Hank rest. We're actually watching this? Yes, there's gonna be a quiz. Everybody, take notes. I don't know which brother is which, but I know one of them has cancer, and I cried when I saw his TikTok. It was the other brother, though.
It's Crash Course U.S. History, and today we're going to talk about July 4th, which in the United States is known as Independence Day. This is the day that Americans celebrate our independence from Great Britain by doing what we do best: blowing stuff up, offering significant discounts on mattresses, driving long distances for uncomfortable family interactions, and eating a lot of grilled meat.
Stop banking me! I don't know! You're mad gullible? Guys, my brain is too big for my skull, and it makes me literally stupid sometimes. You have to be nice. I could have told you this is Drake and you would have believed me. Okay, I'm not that stupid. Oh, also today... Oh, wait, I had a bit. Let me go back. Guys, I'm a real patriot. I'm third generation American. In this... I drink 5 of these every day. I was gonna open with that bit. Fuck me. I wasn't gonna do the national anthems, but I was gonna do this bit. This was at the dollar store, okay? 1 quart, 10 ounces. 42 ounces. This is crazy. But you know the large soda pops, like the fountain drinks? Those are 40 ounces. If you're drinking 40-ounce sodas when you go to the fast food places, that is not good at all. You need to stop doing that. I know it's better value, but like you gotta get smalls, guys. Yeah, I did see full bottles, but I didn't want to carry back like 5 liters of soda pop. I only bought 1 for the bit. And then another one of Sprite, because I actually like Sprite. Ooh! You guys should try mixed Sprite with a little bit of coconut milk. It's really good. Okay, history time. Take notes. Take notes. What if it's my drink all day? Well, right. Like 16 ounces of soda is typically like 100% of your daily sugar. So if you're drinking a 40-ounce throughout the whole day, that's like 3 times your daily amount.
The story goes that the founders of this nation signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776, parting ways with King George
oh shit, sorry.
to found the freest, finest nation on the face of the earth.
1776, that's from Hamilton.
Yeah, except the Continental Congress actually approved a resolution of independence on July 2nd. The Lee Resolution was proposed by Richard Henry Lee of Virginia in June of 1776 and was a simple legal declaration.
Stop colluding. I'm literally the teacher. You guys are talking about cheating in front of me. That's so bad. Whisper me the answers? You guys don't know what's on the quiz.
John Adams got so excited about it that he wrote to his wife Abigail, "The second day of July 1776 will be the most memorable epoch in the history of America. I am apt to believe that it will be celebrated by succeeding generations as the great anniversary festival. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other, from this time."
I watched the live-action Little Mermaid, and I didn't realize that Lin-Manuel Miranda was one of the writers for the songs, and it makes so much more sense now. I got accused of cheating in college. Didn't you also smash a TA? That's 2 red flags. Hi, Crystal. Can we get some yos? They always talk so fast in Crash Course. I used to watch these on like 1.5
So what
speed.
happened on the 4th? Well, not that much, actually. The Declaration of Independence was the formal announcement of independence, and its text was approved on July 4th, 1776. The fancy parchment version with all the pretty calligraphy wouldn't get drawn up until July 19th, and most members of the Congress signed the Declaration on August 2nd. Adams may have been wrong about the date, but he was definitely
it's not
right about
applesauce.
the
I made a
celebration.
smoothie.
Americans started celebrating the 4th of July as early as 1777, and as Adams predicted, the holiday was observed with feasts, 13-gun salutes, and fireworks. Why don't we call them illuminations anymore, Stan? You know, people can say like, oh, we put a man on the moon and we can...
My dumb ass was just gonna say, how did they have fireworks back then? But fireworks are like hundreds and hundreds of years old. I'm DOM. Yeah, China.
refrigerate our meat now.
I thought to myself, oh wait, there's fireworks in the Mulan movie.
I miss the old days. Anyway, in 1778, George Washington celebrated the 4th by giving his soldiers a double ration of rum, and also there
Guys, don't worry, I just graduated college. Graduation stream will be this weekend, probably.
was much more shooting than usual. But while the people celebrated the anniversary from the beginning, the federal government took its sweet time in formalizing the holiday. Independence Day became an unpaid holiday for federal employees in 1870 and became a paid day off in 1938. 4th of July observances have evolved over the years.
Wait, go back.
Independence Day became an unpaid holiday for federal employees in
So it became an unpaid holiday in 1870. And then a paid holiday
1870 and became a paid day off in 1938.
That's crazy to me.
July observances have evolved over the years, but they generally involve patriotic displays, including decorations, fire, and explosives. Essentially, we celebrate our independence by having a one-day fake war each summer. Huzzah! Freedom tinnitus. Early observances were marked by huge bonfires, but the litigious nature of modern American society has greatly reduced the number of bonfires. However, we still have a lot of fireworks on the 4th of July. Many cities and towns across the country sponsor fireworks displays on the 4th. New York's fireworks display is the largest in the nation. Despite the grandeur of these officially sanctioned displays, many individuals across the nation feel the need to blow stuff up on their own in their yards because, you know, they have all of their fingers, and that seems like too many. Many states have restricted the sale and personal use of...
Not my friend, but a friend of a friend, had, like, half their fingers blown off, because he was holding onto a firework and it lit, and he didn't let go in time. So he had, like, literally half his fingers blown off. Be careful, guys. Like, it's never play with fire, okay? And if you're gonna do fireworks, make sure you have a group of people. That way, if something does happen, you have somebody to take you to the hospital. What's my opinion on the toxic gossip train? That was a crazy video, and I watched Hassan's reaction. I didn't want to like give it a view, you know? And it was like, it's like self-aware, but also like kind of self-reporting. Like, her video is insane. I saw a video of people lighting fireworks near somebody in a wheelchair, and the guy couldn't really escape. That's scary. That's scary to me, because then it's like, I understand you want people to have fun, right? But I think if you're in a situation where there is somebody who is disabled, you kind of need somebody who will, I guess, step in. Because what happens when there are, like, fires, like, in a school or a building is more often than not, in a school, like, there's dedicated staff members who will help disabled people evacuate. But I think if you're in a situation and you see somebody needs help and you are able to help them, you know? Really where? Well, it's usually the staff members that are in the classroom, because my mom worked in a disabled classroom for some years. So those staff members were dedicated to help them first, but sometimes like the office personnel, because they didn't have like a classroom of students. They would go directly to the disabled students' classroom and then help sometimes. But anyway, No Man Left Behind. Exactly. Anyway, back to it.
Fireworks, freedom haters.
Oh,
but
Kim made a good point. Make sure you're not drinking yet. Make sure at least somebody's
Patriots
sober.
find their way to marginal neighborhoods every year to buy fireworks out of the backs of vans. In my neighborhood, these personal pyrotechnic celebrations start in about mid-May and continue well into August, causing my dog to have a very stressful summer. John Adams' prediction about gunfire holds true as well. On most military bases, 50 gunshots, one for each state, are fired at noon on July 4th as a salute to the Union. And in Stan's neighborhood, where you go to buy the fireworks out of the backs of vans, celebratory gunfire is common throughout the year. Here is an actual bullet hole in Stan's actual window. Stan, can we get the Libertage again?
Wait, Libertage?
In the 19th century, many ex-presidents celebrated the 4th of July by dying. Both Thomas Jefferson and John Adams died on July 4th, 1826, and James Madison died on the 4th of July in 1831. Calvin Silent Cal Coolidge was born on July 4th, 1876, but as he was never demonstrably alive, no one really cares that much. Finally, lest we forget, Americans also celebrate the 4th of July by eating. Millions of Americans host cookouts to celebrate independence, and the greatest spectacle in professional sports happens every year on the 4th of July. I am referring, of course, to the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. The current world record is 68 HDBs, hot dogs and buns, in 10 minutes. That means the world record holder, Joey Chestnut, consumed about 28,500 calories in 10 minutes.
Okay, I know you're asking to watch Joey, but whenever I see like the speed eating videos, I get kind of grossed out. Like, it's cool. Like, it's a cool party trick, but then I also think about, like, if I were to do that and I don't like thinking about
but
it.
Don't worry, he threw it up shortly thereafter. So happy 4th of July from all of us here at Crash Course. We may not celebrate American independence on the right day, but I would argue that in spite of it all, it's still worth celebrating. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.
Okay, how many of you guys actually celebrate? Let's do a poll. I mean, I feel like we're gonna get kind of skewed results today since you guys are watching a stream. But everybody, do the poll, do the poll. Vote in the poll. Do you guys actually celebrate the 4th? It was kind of a reason why I decided to stream earlier in the day, in case, like, people go out and do shit in the evening. Depends on what you mean by celebrating. I would say, like, either doing a cookout or hanging out with family or, like, fireworks. That to me is, like, the 3 pillars of celebrating. I used to just with family. That's how it was with me, too. Hi, Lemon. Can we get some meows? Hi, Lemon. Yeah, one of my neighbors, they were an elderly couple, and they would hold, like, annual, like, potlucks, but then the husband died like 5 years ago, so then they stopped doing it, and it was kind of sad. But because I don't really have any family here in the States, or I guess all my family's in Hawaii, so we would only really celebrate during the potluck. And usually, because I live near like a giant grass field at my home, my family home, is that what you call it? So there would always be people. They would be like signs saying, "Don't shoot fireworks in the field," but then people would obviously still do it. So there'd always be like a bunch of fireworks outside our house. No, I'm not Hawaiian. I'm Asian Hispanic, but my mom grew up in Hawaii. Was the food good at the potluck? It was aight. I was gonna make it this year, but every year my mom would make, it's the vanilla cake with Cool Whip and then fruit on top. Or my mom would make cherry cobbler because we have cherry trees in our backyard. Or my parents' house. But nobody did a barbecue. I think, her husband, her late husband would always do like burgers and hot dogs. They were the nicest couple. They were so sweet too. But, little funny story about them. It was his 3rd marriage. And for their whole marriage, she had wanted a dog, but he hated dogs. So like 2 months after he passed, she got a dog finally. Dog was annoying as shit, but she lives alone. She's probably gonna move into with her daughter soon, but I don't know. I can't imagine like finding somebody you love and then you grow old and then one of them dies. I would be so sad. I don't know. I'll just never get married. Easy. Okay, looking at the poll, it looks like half you guys celebrate and half don't. You just go with them? Yeah. I was thinking about, like... Anyway, that's kind of like... I'd be sad. No Riz peas. It'll happen one day. I'll get a GF one day. Don't worry. Don't worry. I mean, Pride Month is over, so... Okay. You just get a replacement? Okay, who's gonna be dating when they're like 85 though? Oh my god, when I saw the Elemental movie, I saw the Up short. I won't spoil anything, but it's the one where like the old man goes on a date and it's really cute. And I cried. When I'm 85, older women won't exist? No, you just gotta find somebody who's like 87. That's still older, right? Okay, everybody, we gotta go back. So we learned about the actual Independence Day, right? But we gotta learn about what led up to the revolution. So everybody, get your notepads, get your notebooks back out. Back to class. We took a little break, back to class.
Hi, I'm John Green. This is Crash Course U.S. History, and today we begin discussing the American Revolution. So 2 things to keep in mind here. 1, the American Revolution and the American War for Independence are not the same thing. And 2,
Wait,
while I know this will upset some
What? I haven't done history in so
Revolution
long.
was not really about taxes.
No.
Mr. Green, it was about tea, right? Also, it was not about tea. The Boston Tea Party was about taxes and our God-given right to smuggle. It's a little confusing me from the past, but that's why Crash Course is here.
We love smuggling. Oh my god, for one of my A-push essays, I can't see the prompt, okay? I legally cannot see the prompt. But I legit don't remember what the prompt is anyway, but I wrote about the Boston Tea Party and I got a B on it. Okay, if we have any little Zoomers who are in AP classes, the way to write your essays to make it like college level is you have to connect it to like a modern event or another historical event. Like you can't just explain what happened, you have to make connections. That's how you get like higher marks. What happens if you say the prompt? The Department of Education will find my stream and then make me pay my student loans right now. Nah, we got another 6 months until I gotta start paying. Boston Tea Party is the same as Pride Month? So as you'll recall, the
7 Years' War ended with the treaty.
Okay. I was thinking about this morning. And you know how there's riots going on in Paris? And even when there's like rioting or protests going on in the States, everybody's like, oh, why is everybody so violent? Why are they doing violence? I think in the case of the Boston Tea Party, that was an instance to where a protest or a riot could affect the Capitol owners, right? Because since it was directly related to tea, if they destroy the product, then that's actually going to hurt the people who are distributing the tea, right? Okay, bear with me. But with more grassroots movements, it's harder to determine who you want to feel the harm of your action. So that's why a lot of people resort to destroying property, because it's not like you can attack a company anymore, okay? It's not like you can destroy a product. It's kind of like with, like as you saw with the Harry Potter game, how people were boycotting it. That was an attempt at a grassroots movement, right? But it didn't get a lot of traction because not everybody was doing the same thing. That's why a lot of people resort to violence. I don't like when like public property is damaged, like transit, or they're like fucking up roads. But a good point that I heard in like more extremist type of rioting or protesting, it's that nothing else can be done for policymakers to act. So it's kind of like, if you voted and it worked, then we wouldn't do shit. But that's not working. If we could elect policymakers into place that could pass the policies we want, we wouldn't do anything. But now that there's legislation to mitigate or restrict voter access, there's not much that the actual people can do. So that's why people do resort to protesting, which does lead to rioting in some cases. It's mainly because there's no other option. Anyway.
Of Paris in
the Treaty of
1763,
Paris,
which made the colonists cranky because it limited their ability to take land from the Indians, and it also left them holding the bag for a lot of war debt. Wars, as you may have noticed, are expensive, and the British government had to borrow 150 million pounds, and the interest payments on that money ate up half of the national budget. So in order to pay for the war, the British decided to raise taxes. And since the primary beneficiaries of the war had been the American colonists, the British government felt it was only fair if some of the burden fell to them. Now, taxes on colonial trade were nothing new. The British government had placed taxes on a bunch of items in order to reduce competition with Britain, including wool and hats and mole asses. Why did they place a tax on mole asses? It doesn't seem like that would be a huge market. Oh, molasses. Right, of course. But those taxes were about trying to
editors
regulate trade in a mercantilist way more than trying to pay back war debt, and also they were easy to avoid via smuggling, which we did because this is America. But mostly the colonists were angry because they didn't have any say about the new taxes that Britain was imposing. I mean, after all, by 1760, some colonies had been setting their own taxes through their own legislatures for 100 years. So the taxes themselves weren't really the problem. It was their lack of parliamentary representation. The first purportedly oppressive tax, the Sugar
Wait, taxation without representation.
Act of 1764 extended the Molasses Act by
changing
the tax on imports from the Caribbean from 6 cents per gallon all the way up to 3 cents per gallon. So they actually cut the tax, but they decided to start enforcing it by stamping out smuggling. And to that end, the act also gave British courts the right to try colonial smugglers, taking that power away from colonial courts, which had been notoriously lenient when it came to smuggling on account of how they enjoyed smuggled rum as much as the next guy. But those initial acts weren't nearly as annoying as the Stamp Act, passed in 1765. The Stamp Act declared that all printed material had to carry a stamp. Unsurprisingly, that stamp was not free. This was purely to gain revenue for Britain, and it mostly affected people who used a lot of paper, you know, like newspaper.
This is summer class.
Printers and lawyers, just the kind of people you want to anger about taxes. So in October, protesters organized the Stamp Act Congress, which after a meeting decided to boycott British goods. And this was the first major coordinated action by all the colonies together. And it might be the first time that we can speak of the colonies acting in a united way, almost like, say, a government.
It's almost like collective action actually does shit.
Committees of correspondence, which had been created to encourage opposition to earlier acts, now grew to coordinate the boycott efforts, and they helped people become more aware of their liberties, and they also spurred street actions that occasionally became violent. These direct actions were organized by groups calling themselves the Sons of Liberty, and guess what? Coordinated action worked. The British Parliament repealed the
Is that why protests can actually work? You know, Pearson was the student asking for homework.
Stamp Act, but they did pass the
Okay, I'm reformed. I'm reformed now.
Declaratory Act, which was all like, listen,
He's
you're
watching
not the
historical
boss
stuff
of us. We can tax you. We don't want to tax you right now as it happens, but we could if we wanted to, but we won't, but we could. So the repeal of the Stamp Act was seen by many in the colonies as a huge victory, but most of the people organizing the protests were elites, you know, the kind of people who use paper. But once you start talking about the idea of representation, everybody wants in. Meanwhile, Great Britain still needed money, so Chancellor of the Exchequer Charles Townshend got Parliament to pass new taxes in 1767. The so-called Townshend Acts also created a new board of customs to stop smuggling, which we didn't like one bit. You don't like it when I say we? Well, tough luck. I'm an American. Bring back the Libertage, Stan. Many colonists again responded with a boycott, and women got in on the act.
Okay, since you guys are Zoomer build, do you want to do it quicker? Let's do 1.25.
time, with the Daughters of Liberty encouraging homespun clothes to replace British
Okay,
ones.
this
But
is
not all
too
the states were on
fast.
board.
This
Like,
is
artisans
too
loved the
fast.
boycott
Never
because they
mind.
got more money. But merchants from cities like Philadelphia and New York weren't so happy because they made their
I'm trying to
livings by
learn.
importing and
No,
selling
1.5
the very
is too
goods
quick.
that were now being boycotted. On occasion, protests did get out of hand, as in the Boston Massacre of March 5th, 1770, which, while it was not much of a massacre, was definitely the worst outcome of a snowball fight in American history. I mean, 5 colonists were killed, including most famously Crispus Attucks, a sailor of mixed-race ancestry. And then, of the 9 British soldiers put on trial, 7 were acquitted and 2 were convicted only of manslaughter thanks to the top-notch lawyering of one John Adams.
Dude,
Don't worry,
L.
though, that
John
guy comes around to
Adams.
the American cause. But overall, boycotts and protests were effective, and British merchants pushed for the repeal of these acts, leaving only a tax on tea. Let's go to the thought bubble. The 1773 Tea Act offered tax exemptions and rebates for tea coming in from the British.
I used to think that it was D's and C's for diplomas, but then I was informed that my degree program needed a certain GPA. So that's why my last year of school, I had to get only A's and B's. I was kind of fucked. But I still graduated. I watched my graduation video with my friend this weekend, and we, like, skipped the end, and my name was on screen for 2 seconds. Oh, wait, I muted it.
Allowed them to dump cheap tea on the colonies.
I don't
which
care enough
actually
about
lowered
America.
the price
Learn
of tea.
about your
So why were the
history.
colonists so mad that on December 16th, 1773, they dressed up as Indians and dumped enough tea into Boston Harbor to cause the modern equivalent of a $4 million loss? Some colonists were upset that cheap tea would cut into the profits of smugglers and established tea merchants, but most were just angry on principle. To our great national shame, tea was at the time as important a beverage in the colony.
They were mad. But okay. Like we talked about earlier, that this form of, like, violence, like destroying property, actually impacted the vendors and, like, the trade merchants. And then people are getting mad because you're destroying tea. But I hate anti-protest movements. It's not. I feel like people who are, like, anti-protesters are just so small-brained, they don't understand the big concept of the movements. It's so dumb.
As it was to Brits living in Britain, and to allow the British to tax a near universal product set a precedent that Britain could tax whatever they wanted. But the Tea Partiers miscalculated, thinking that the British would back down in response to their protest. Instead, the British responded by passing a series of acts that colonists came to call the Intolerable Acts. The Massachusetts Government Act curtailed self-government there. The Quartering Act forced colonists to house British soldiers in their homes when ordered to. The Quebec Act extended the southern boundary of Quebec and granted religious toleration to Catholics, which was none too popular with the Great Awakening crowd having recently awoken. The colonial response to these acts is really the start of the American Revolution. First, Massachusetts passed a set of resolutions calling for colonists to 1. Disobey the Intolerable Acts, 2. Stop paying taxes, and 3. Prepare for war. And in September 1774, a group of delegates from 12 of the 13 colonies, Georgia, met in Philadelphia to coordinate the resistance of the Intolerable Act. This was the First Continental Congress, which in setting up the Continental Association to police the boycott and encourage domestic manufacturing was the first real colony-wide government in British America. Thanks, Thought Bubble. So this sort of phenomenon is known by historians as kind of a big deal. I mean, coordinating action to achieve some end is what governments do, so it's not an exaggeration to say that the First Continental Congress was the first government of America. You might even say that sending delegates to Philadelphia in 1774 was the first truly revolutionary act of the American Revolution, but it was not a call for independence. However, there was a changing attitude among many colonists, because rather than seeing themselves as standing up for their rights as English people, they began to make claims based on abstract ideas.
You know when they dumped the tea? Did the lagoon taste good?
Is about freedom.
That's all I've been thinking about for the past 2 minutes.
Between worlds, because it justified its actions as liberties of free and natural-born subjects within the realm of England, but it also talked about immutable laws of nature. And this idea that all humans...
Okay, not gonna lie, the Intolerable Acts were kind of a L move. I feel like if they didn't enact such, like, strict policy that intentionally restricted the colonists, that it might have not led to a revolution, if not only would have prolonged it. Because, yeah, I think that was an L move.
have certain rights derived from natural law has become a pretty big deal, not just in the United States, but also in the green lands of not America. I mean, these days, human rights is a phrase that we bandy about with Putin. Do you show up every time the words human rights are mentioned to make sure that we're talking about China and not you? And this brings me back to an important point. Although we tend to equate the two, the American Revolution and the American War for Independence were not the same thing. I mean, for one thing, the fighting started 15 months before the Declaration of Independence. For another, simply declaring independence does not make you an independent nation, as I will now demonstrate. I hereby declare this studio the independent nation of John Green, Sylvania. Yeah, see, nothing happened. The war between colonists and Britain began in 1775, on April 19th to be exact, when fighting broke out between the British soldiers and Massachusetts militiamen, the Minutemen, at Concord and Lexington, or Lexington and Concord, depending on whether you live in Lexington or Concord. This was the famous shot heard round the world, immortalized in Longfellow's poem, The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. So while the colonists actually lost the famous Battle of Bunker Hill, which was technically fought on Breed's Hill, the British suffered such heavy casualties that soon thereafter they were forced to abandon Boston. But then they got some revenge by taking over New York, which they held for most of the rest of the war. But in thinking about the war, it's very important to understand that not all colonists were pro-independence. Like elites in colonies like New York and Pennsylvania were
The libs!
very nervous about all this revolutionary fervor that was whipping up artisans and small-time farmers to think that they
Oh my god, the libs have always been a problem! Fuck the small business owners. Oh my god. Why did they fight wars in a straight line and how did they miss? I know muskets are very hard to shoot. I do know that. I've never shot one. But, like, I have a few friends who like guns and they tell me that it makes sense. Also, everybody, we are an hour into stream, so it's time for me to run some ads. You can avoid that ad by subscribing for $4.99, just $5. Skip your coffee and get ad-free viewing all month long. Or you can link Amazon Prime to Twitch and hashtag sub for free with Prime. Click subscribe to see if you have Prime available. Real Patriots, subscribe with Prime. Easy. Were the British a small business? I mean, if you consider the Queen, right? I mean, didn't, like, the royal family make a fuck ton of money off of, like, tourism related to, like, the monarchy? I don't know, let's learn about it. No, but elites in colonies like New York and Pennsylvania were very nervous about the revolutionary fervor that was whipping up artisans and small-time farmers to think that they deserved to have a say in the political process. Oh, wait. Oh, so this is saying, why should the poor people have a say in policy?
Deserve to have
that is
say
interesting.
in the political
Okay,
process.
I didn't realize it was like
mystery
that.
Document? Awesome, I love getting shocked. The rules here are simple. If I guess the author of the mystery document correctly, I do not get the shock pin. If I'm wrong, I do get the shock pin.
2010
All right, let's see what we
YouTube
got here.
pain challenges.
The Americans are properly Britons. They have the manners, habits, and ideas of Britons and have been accustomed to a similar form of government. But Britons could never bear the extremes, either of monarchy or republicanism. Some of their kings have aimed at despotism, but always failed. Repeated efforts have been made toward democracy, and they equally failed. If we may judge of future events by past transactions, in similar circumstances, this would most probably be the case
Why
in
is there a
America,
dinosaur?
where a republican form of government adopted in our present ferment. All right, so we've got an educated person who thinks that Americans are Britons who will inevitably want to walk a middle path between republicanism and monarchy, and therefore that the revolution is not a good idea. I know it's a colonist because of the reference to our present ferment. All right, I'm going to guess that it is Ben Franklin's son, William Franklin? Ah, dang it!
Yes, pain time!
Who the hell is Charles Inglis? Charles Inglis? Charles freaking Inglis? I've never even heard of that guy. It's not fair. Ah! Oh, I hate that.
Sorry, just the edit was funny.
Anyway, people like Inglis remind us that not everyone in the colonies was all fired up to be an independent nation. In fact, in July of 1775, the Continental Congress sent the Olive Branch petition to King George III, suggesting that Americans were loyal British subjects who wanted reconciliation with the mother country. But then along came Thomas Paine's pamphlet, Common Sense. Why couldn't that have been the mystery document? Common Sense appeared in January of 1776, and it was like the Harry Potter of its time, only with liberty instead of wizard school. written in relatively straightforward English, the pamphlet contains many powerful rhetorical arguments, like, of more worth is one honest man to society and in the sight of God than all the crowned ruffians that ever lived. Others were just common sense, like this nugget. There is something absurd in supposing a continent to be perpetually governed by an island. Pow! Also, there's the beautiful sentiment, the weapon we have is love. Oh,
What do you
that's
think it
Harry
was
Potter.
like during
I
those
told you they were
times?
similar. Ultimately, Paine's arguments all
Did they
contributed to
still
the idea that
throw
America
shit
is
in
somehow
the streets
special,
back
even
then?
exceptional. I mean, talking about independence and freedom, he said, the cause of America is in great measure the cause of all mankind. That's powerful stuff, and Paine's pamphlet sold 150,000 copies, and it was extremely widely read. By the way, he still managed to die penniless, and only 8 people attended his funeral because of his vitriolic ridicule of Christianity. But anyway, America eventually declared independence for many reasons, but Paine's persuasive arguments were one important reason. And it marks a moment when the pen truly was, if not more
The
powerful
reason why the
than at
common
least
sense doctrine was so important is because it was written in layman terms, meaning the general public could understand and comprehend it. Going back to the point earlier when they were saying the elites didn't like how the general public or even smaller merchants didn't want them to have a say in policy. It's going back to the themes of classism. Anyway.
more important than the sword. I mean, within 6 months of the publication of Common Sense, the Second Continental Congress had declared independence and signed one of the most important documents in the history of the world, which is where we'll pick up next week. Thanks for watching. Crash Course is produced and directed by Stan Muller. Our script supervisor is Mary
Okay,
Stanko.
so
The
that
associate
was
producer is Danica.
the lead up to the revolution.
Hi, I'm John Green. This is Crash Course U.S. History. There
Wait,
are
is
two
this
kinds.
really the next one? Okay, we'll do one more. This talks about like the actual like
of
fights and
revolutions.
shit.
Those
Make
where
it
things
stop.
do
No!
change and those where things don't change.
No.
Like, not to get all Crash Course mathematics on you or anything, but a revolution is a 360-degree turn, which
There will
leaves
be
you
a
back
quiz.
where you
Take
started.
notes.
That's what happened with the French Revolution. Basically, they just exchanged a bourbon for a Bonaparte. What? I don't have to say it all Frenchy. This is American history. And shut up, French people, about how if it weren't for your support in the American Revolution, this would be the history of southern Canada. But other revolutions, like the Industrial Revolution, actually changed things. So which was the American Revolution? Well, little of column A, little of column B. Mr. Green, yeah, we went from a bunch of rich white guys running the show all the way to a bunch of rich white guys running the show. You're not wrong, me from the past, but the 1700s were a pretty good century for rich white guys everywhere. I mean, they were running the show in Holland and Portugal and Spain, but only the United States became the country that invented baseball, the Model T, and competitive eating. So you're right, me from the past, but even if the US didn't live up to its rhetoric, that rhetoric was still powerful. And in the end, whether you care more about ideas or policy defines whether you think the American Revolution really was revolutionary.
I thought this was John. I don't know who is who. I don't know.
All right, let's start with the War for Independence. If
I
you've
know
been
this is
watching
the
Crash
author.
Course, you'll know that we're not big on gratuitous war details, but we're obligated to tell you something about it. The main strategy of the
Yes,
British in the
war.
Revolutionary
We
War was to
love
capture all the
war.
cities and force the colonists to surrender. And the first part of that strategy pretty much worked. They captured Boston and New York and Charleston, but all the colonists had to do was not quit. I mean, they had home field advantage, knowledge of the terrain, easier supply lines, and Mr. Creepy Eyes down here. So while the British took the cities, the Americans, or Continentals, held onto the countryside. The most famous battle of the war was probably the Battle of Trenton, where Washington was like, I'm gonna cross the Delaware on Christmas morning. He had a funny voice. Everybody knows he had a funny voice. It's famous. That's a made-up fact. Don't put it on your AP tests. What do I know
Imagine.
about Washington? Well, I know he had a funny voice. Washington surprised a bunch of Hessians, which was a pretty impressive victory, especially since he'd just come off a string of defeats. But he wasn't able to turn it into an all-out rout and ended up having to spend a miserable winter in Valley Forge. But remember, generals always get to eat. But the most important battle, at least in the North, was not Trenton, but Saratoga. This was a major defeat for the British, and while it's often put forth as an example of the superiority of the continental fighting man, the British mostly lost because of terrible generals.
You know, you see all these like period paintings. Were there like artists on the field? Because they didn't have photography. So were people just like, you know, you know, you know how they have like live paintings at weddings? Were people just like live painting battle scenes? Hi, Potato. Welcome in. Your painting's gonna get mailed tomorrow, hun.
generaling. The
Hi,
French would
potato.
eventually bankrupt themselves, helping
Yeah,
us,
I know
which
they
would
were
lead to
drummers.
their
I
own
knew that.
revolution. As thanks, we named our most important food after them. In the South, the country-city trend continued, with the British taking Charleston, but then continuing to lose smaller-scale battles and be harassed by guerrilla-style tactics. The key battle of the war in the South, because it was the one where the British surrendered, was at Yorktown in 1781. Lord Cornwallis made the brilliant
Another thing I think about, like, in this, how did they not, like, stab each? How is there no friendly fire? Like, that's gotta happen when they're standing in rows like this.
Was the one where the British surrendered, was at Yorktown in 1781. Lord Cornwallis made the brilliant tactical decision to station his troops on a peninsula surrounded on three sides by water filled with French ships, and the British lost the war. So what did this all mean for actual people? Well, Americans like to think that we all
bye,
pitched
potato.
in together and got
Thank you
rid
for
of
saying
British
hi.
tyranny and lived happily ever after. Also that the Continental Army was the bravest, most loyal, and most effective fighting force in human history thanks to the leadership of George Washington. But actually, well, yeah, let's go to the thought bubble. Morale among Continental soldiers was often pretty low. Rations were poor and soldiers went unpaid. As Joseph Plum Martin, a soldier from Connecticut, wrote, they felt they were starving in detail for an ungrateful people who did not care what became of us. And many other colonists didn't fight for independence. They fought with the British. Others were pacifists, like the Quakers, who often had their property confiscated when they refused to fight. And in colonial America, of course, losing property also meant losing rights. And for slaves, the so-called fight for freedom was very different than it was for Continental soldiers, because loyalty to Britain in the war could mean freedom. In 1775, British Governor Lord Dunmore issued a proclamation that granted freedom to any slave who deserted his master and fought for the British. Something like 5,000 slaves took him up on the offer.
Damn.
And in addition, many slaves saw the revolution as a chance to escape. Boston King left a cruel master and later wrote, I determined to go to Charlestown and throw myself into the hands of the English. They received me readily, and I began to feel the happiness of liberty, of which I knew nothing before. 100,000 slaves are estimated to have fled to the British. Now, many slaves were returned to their masters, but more than 15,000 left the U.S. when the British did. And it's worth remembering that the British Empire abolished slavery in all of its territory by 1843, and without a civil war. Thanks, Thought Bubble.
Okay,
The
W.
Native
Britain,
Americans were also
I guess?
profoundly affected by the Revolutionary War. Generally, they wanted to stay out of it, and the colonists mostly wanted them to remain neutral too. Like the Continental Congress was eager to remind the Iroquois of their history of neutrality, writing, this is a family quarrel between us and Old England. You Indians are not concerned in it. We don't wish you to take up the hatchet against the king's troops. We desire you to remain at home and not join on either side, but keep the hatchet buried deep. Right, well, many of the Iroquois fought for the British anyway. The Oneidas joined the Patriots fighting against the Iroquois. Sometimes there were divisions within tribes themselves. Like with the Cherokees, younger chiefs tended to side with the British, older ones with the Americans. And it should be mentioned that, unsurprisingly, American troops were particularly brutal to American Indians who fought for the British, burning their villages and enslaving prisoners contrary to the accepted rules of war. And if the American Revolution was really about, as Thomas Jefferson would have it, the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit.
I think also back then, like, the more clothed layers you had, the more higher class you were, or it's implied, because if you had, like, clothing where you had to wear, like, a corset, multiple layers, or, like, you know how they had, like, the full body underwear, and then, like the gown over it? You would have to have, like, somebody help you put it on, like a housemaid or something. So if you wore clothes that had more layers, then it's a demonstration of social class. But who came up with the fits? Personally, I love older clothing. I think it goes crazy. I think it looks cool.
Of happiness, then the Indians were definitely the losers.
I do think the
because
wigs
they
are
didn't
kind
get
of
any
funny.
those rights. So we know slaves and Native Americans didn't get much out of the Revolutionary War. How did it go for women? Yeah, not great. Some colonial women fought in the war.
women
Deborah
never win.
Sampson dressed as a man and fought at several battles, once even pulling a bullet out of her own leg. But women didn't get much out of the Revolution. They were basically still considered wards of their husbands, or if they were unmarried, saleable assets of their fathers. However, the idea of Republican motherhood became really important. It held that for the Republic to survive, it was necessary to have a well-educated citizenry. And since women were the primary educators, they themselves needed to be educated so they could, to quote founding father Benjamin Rush, instruct their sons in the principles of liberty and government. But not vote or own property. So the war didn't end slavery, it didn't much change the roles of women, and it didn't displace the elite, land-owning, pasty, white guy leadership of America. So what was revolutionary? Well, the ideas, a lot of which are summed up in a single sentence of the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident. self-evident, that all men are created equal, that
Was
they
this
are
a
endowed by
vaccine?
their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So when the colonies became states, they all created constitutions which opened voting to more people. While most states still had property qualifications for voting, the bar was lowered, so there were far more voters than there had been, although they were mostly white and male. But still, another aspect of the American Revolution that was pretty revolutionary was the beginning of true
It is kind of wild to think that women were recently in like America's history able to vote, along with desegregation. That to me, like, you see a lot in like textbooks, like the pictures being in black and white, but color film was still developed at the time, and a big reason why they use black and white imagery is to make it seem like it's from longer ago, when in reality it's not even 100 years.
religious freedom, like with independence.
That's why like all the clips you see of like MLK are in black and white, all the film. There was color film at that time.
The Church
Yeah,
of
Lee Mack,
England
we said the
ceased
same
to
thing.
be the Church of America. And some founders, like Thomas Jefferson, were deists, believing that God had created the world, but then stepped away to like create other universes or try to build a boulder too big for him to lift. Jefferson called for a wall of separation between church and state that's best embodied in the bill for establishing religious freedom in Virginia, which Jefferson was so proud of that he had it mentioned on his tombstone. And the American Revolution profoundly changed the economy too. Like all these new ideas of liberty led to a decline in apprenticeship and indentured servitude, and immediately after the war, you began to see the split between the North with its reliance on paid labor and the South with its reliance on slavery. Slavery was actually on the decline in the South until Eli Whitney went and invented the cotton gin in 1793, which A, made it possible to turn a profit growing inferior American cotton, and B, reinvigorated slavery. Yay, innovation. Oh no, it's time for the mystery document.
Okay, we can skip
The rules
that
are
part.
simple. Mystery doc. So it's worth remembering that some early Americans proposed a vision of liberty that sprung out of the idea of equality of property, which is very different from the way we imagine liberty today. But ideas of liberty, as diverse as they were, are really at the heart of what makes the American Revolution revolutionary. And that brings us back to slavery. The most common complaint among American high school students is that the revolution was deeply hypocritical. I mean, how could this guy write that all men were created equal when he himself held slaves and had kids with one of them? And even crazier, American colonists often referred to themselves as slaves because they were denied the right to have a vote in Parliament about their
I just had a thought. I need to formulate it.
taxation. Now, some people recognize that
Oh,
it was a smidge
okay.
hypocritical.
It's similar to like how people downplay the Holocaust, or when they say, "Oh, this is worse than the Holocaust." It's like you cannot compare certain things. You cannot. Those are not adequate analogies. It's if you don't have the lived experience, or you don't have the generational trauma of like that mass casualty event that should not have happened, then you should never make that comparison.
Critical to claim to be enslaved by British taxation, while they themselves were actually enslaving people. But very few made the leap to say that liberty should mean freedom for the slaves. One exception was James Otis of Massachusetts, who wrote concerning America's slaves that unless they were free, there could be no liberty. What man is or ever was born free, if every man is not? But most of the founders, including this guy and this guy, were the cream of the colonial elites, and so they held slaves and made arguments against abolition. Like many historians now argue that Jefferson was trying to condemn slavery in the Declaration of Independence, but without slavery, he wouldn't have had his amazing life. I mean, if he'd been working, he couldn't have designed Monticello or stolen all those ideas from John Locke. And speaking of Locke, Locke equated liberty with property, and a revolution based on securing property against tyranny couldn't very well turn around and take slaves, who after all were considered property. I mean, Jefferson once calculated that his slaves gave him a better financial return than his real estate investments. That being said, there were many and frequent protests against slavery. The most vociferous protesters were often African Americans, and in the northern states at least, their pleas were heard. Between 1777 and 1804, all states north of Maryland got rid of slavery, although most did so at a very slow pace and were careful not to deprive slave owners of the value of their property. Like as late as 1830, there were still about 3,500 slaves in the north, and on the eve of the Civil War, there were still 18 in New Jersey. New Jersey! So the number of free people of color in the U.S. skyrocketed. There were fewer than 10,000 in 17 1776, by 1810 there were nearly 200,000 free black Americans. So in the end, real change came, as it usually does, not through a revolutionary event, but through a revolutionary process. To me, the really novel idea that emerged from the American Revolution was of American equality. Now, obviously, this was and remains a vastly unequal social order, but I'm talking about the kind of equality that Gordon Wood described in his famous book, The Radicalism of the American Revolution. The idea that no one American is inherently better than any other. Prior to the Revolution, and certainly in Europe, there were definite classes of superior people, usually determined by birth. I mean, people knew their place and they were expected to be deferential to their betters. But all that talk of freedom—
It's wild to own another human. I think about that sometimes, and I think on a, like, personal, like, human level, people understood that it was wrong. But when you look at it on paper, let's say, when you, like, let's say you have a farm. It's like, if I use slave labor, then I will save tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in labor, more money in my pocket. So I think for the people who did choose to keep slaves, like they were saying in the North after, I don't think the moral dilemma sunk in yet. It's still wild to think that it was so heavily normalized, and as they were saying earlier, how there was still movements to include the freedom of slavery in, like, the talks of independence. But at that point, slaves were so dehumanized to where they weren't seen as people. And that sentiment is still prevalent in modern day. You see the dehumanization of queer people, the dehumanization of the homeless or unhoused, and still the dehumanization of minority populations. So I think a lot of it comes from the classism and the normalized exploitation of people under its capitalism. It kind of forces you to feel like you are lesser and see other people as lesser. It also comes down to lack of perception and then understanding other people's lived experiences. If you don't live it, or if you don't know somebody who's experienced it, you don't know what it's like. Yeah, but I'm not being yeah, I'm not yes, that's not what I'm saying, Mac, but I'm just saying, like, the concept of, like, it's normalized to look down on other people. You should be a political advocate. You're good at this stuff. I just watch a song. I don't know. I've thought about it. Politics it's hard because obviously we were talking about this in chat a few weeks ago. But I love politics because it's seen in your everyday life. It's seen in your commute to work, when you go grocery shopping, when you hang out with your friends. It's because politics is policy. And policy is in your everyday life, in your workplace. So it's very hard to not care about it. If you personally are off-put by politics, just don't watch the crazy shit. Be more active in your local policies and see, like, your city representatives, your state reps. Look at their websites, look at their local campaigns, see what forms of activism are being done in your area. Because mainstream media does sensationalize it a lot. So look at your local scenes.
And inalienable rights introduced the idea that birth wasn't destiny and that all people should be treated with respect. And the idea that no one should be denied the opportunity to succeed because of who their parents were catalyzed change not just in America, but around the world. And while the US no longer leads in equality of opportunity, that early American idea that we are all equal in our capacity to—
Yeah, when the Supreme Court just usurped affirmative action, Lamau,
to reason and to work became the foundation not just for the American Revolution, but for many others that would come afterward. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Crash Course is produced and
the only reason why the Supreme Court is popping off is because Trump was able to appoint so many judges. That's the only reason why. That was the main issue with a Republican gaining presidency.
Hi, I'm John Green.
At a very key point where justices were nearing retirement age. That's why we're fucked now. Whoa, it's over. One more.
Crash Course U.S. History, and today we're going to talk about the United States Constitution.
We're talking
and
about
in
the
doing so, we're going to
Constitution.
explore how the American style of government became the envy of the entire world, so much so that everyone else copied us. What's that?
Now, this
Stan?
is
We're not going to
actual
talk about other
policy.
countries stealing
This
our form
one
of
is-
government because
I'm
no other
actually
country
interested
stole
in.
our form of government? That doesn't seem possible, Stan.
My brain. You're fine. You're fine. Don't worry. There will be a quiz.
No,
You guys will
Stan, not the
pass, right?
libertage.
You
Cue the
paying
intro.
attention. I mean, I think this one especially is interesting because, you know, in the most recent Supreme Court cases, also just in modern politics, how people will use the argument of fundamentalism, like the actual constitutional clauses to justify either adding modern policy or upholding policy that is hundreds of years old, right? Like, you know, right to bear arms, free speech, the reason why the case that was restricting people servicing queer people was on the basis of religious freedom. So it's interesting to see how people are selective about which policies they want to uphold from the Constitution.
So today we're going to learn why the green areas of not America didn't copy us. All right, so as Americans may dimly remember
Looking
from
for a
history
sugar
classes,
mama
the
to pay off my
constitutional
loans?
system
Me
we've been
too,
living
me
under
too.
since 1788, the year of the first
Any
presidential
Oilers in
election,
chat?
was not the original American government. The first government set up by the Continental Congress was called the Articles of Confederation, and it was, in a word, bad. In 2 words, it was not good, which is why it only lasted 10 years. The problem with the Confederation is that it wasn't so much a framework for a national government.
Wait, didn't Nicolas Cage steal the Constitution?
As it was a firm league of friendship, which unfortunately only sounds like a team of Care Bear superheroes. The Articles set up a government that consisted of a one-house body of delegates, with each state having a single vote, who, acting collectively, could make decisions on certain issues that affected all the states. There was no president and no judiciary. You can try to tell me that John Hanson, the president of the Congress, was the first American president, but it's just not true. Any decision required 9 of the 13 congressional votes, which pretty much guaranteed that no decisions would ever be made. Ah, supermajority. Always so efficient. But besides the 2/3 requirement, the Congress was very limited in what it could actually do. The government could declare war, conduct foreign affairs, and make treaties. Basically the stuff you need to do to go to war with England. It could coin money, but it couldn't collect taxes. That was left to the states. So if you needed money to, say, go to war with Britain, you had to ask the states politely. The Articles could be amended, but that required a unanimous vote, so 0 amendments were ever passed. The government was deliberately weak, which followed
If I
logically
were
from
alive during this
Americans'
time, I would
fear
bully
of
for
tyrannical
votes. They should just do that now. I was talking about this with a friend the other day, and we were talking about the issue of how there's very little national policy. A lot of states have way too many rights in terms of policy making, and also how the distribution of federal funding could be changed in certain aspects. So, like, imagine a scenario, because, like, for now, public schooling, funding is dictated by your local taxes. That's why more populous areas, like, you know, coastal states and more higher income cities have typically better schools. They have more extracurricular activities because those populations are usually taxed more, so they have a bigger school budget, versus more impoverished areas to where they get taxed less, or the people in that area make less, so then their schools get less funding. Imagine, so obviously where you go to school in the countries affects your access to education, your access to extracurriculars in a public system, also just in general, like your school life too. So imagine a reality. Okay, because I have the belief that nobody should have either a lack of access to education, or I feel like everybody should have the same standard of education, right? So somebody who lives in Washington State is probably going to have a better access to education or extracurriculars than somebody who lives in Ohio. I know everybody's memeing on Ohio, but it's kind of like that. So imagine a reality where all schools are nationally funded. So where all schools get an allotted budget based on like per capita counts. That way every school has like a proportional funding. I think that could be an interesting model. Anyway, hi Emmy, hi, welcome in. Guys, Emmy Beef has a podcast. Go watch it. I'm gonna be on her podcast next week. I'll shout her out. Emmy Beef. To work, guys, look at the banner in chat. Go click the banner. Go follow her channel. Go follow her channel. I'm gonna be on her podcast next Sunday. Go follow. Go follow. Hi, Emmy. Emmy came into my chat just to plug her channel. Ew. Is it live? Yeah, it'll be a live podcast. I expect you chatters to be in the chat. Yes, it is a live podcast. Go follow her channel, and you can ask her in chat there, or you can probably reply in her tweets and ask questions. I like the way you think. Thank you. Thank you. I am based.
Governments taxing them and quartering soldiers in
dude,
their
I'm a
houses and
socialist.
so on. But here's the thing.
Okay. The problem is people, like the normal working class population, like socialist policy. They just don't like the optics of socialism because socialism is still communism. So, I'm a socialist too, based. Guys, if you're a socialist, type 1. Anyway. Like, if you talk to, like, working class Americans who are, like, Republican leaning, if you, like, just cold, blind tell them socialist policy, they'll agree with it. And they're like, whoa, that's socialism? Communism? Once you tell them, it's, like, so stupid. I hate the optics of American politics. It's so
government
dumb.
is like non-alcoholic beer. It's useless. That said, the article's government did accomplish a couple things. First, it won the war, so yay! Unless you were a slave or a Native American, in which case, you know, probable boo. Second, the government developed rules for dealing with one of the most persistent problems facing the new nation, Ohio, which was called the Northwest, presumably because...
Wait, were there Ohio memes in 10 years ago, 2013? Oh my god, that's so
It is
funny.
north and west of Virginia. Getting control of the land meant taking it from the Indians who were living there, and the article's government was empowered to make treaties, which it did. Crash Course World History fans will remember the Athenians telling the Melians that the strong do as they can and the weak suffer what they must, and the Americans definitely went to the Athenian school of treaty making. Through treaties signed at Fort Stanwix and Fort McIntosh, the Indians surrendered land north of the Ohio River. The biggest accomplishment of the article's government was the Northwest Ordinance of 1787, which set up a process to create 5 new states between the Ohio and Mississippi rivers. Two things
Mac,
to know
I'll be your godmother whenever you want me to. Sign me up.
about this. First, it acknowledged that American Indians had a claim to the land and that they had to be treated better if settlers wanted to avoid violence. And second, Stan, can I get the foreshadowing filter? Yes, perfect. The ordinance outlawed slavery in all 5 of the new states. Still, the article's government was a complete disaster for exactly one reason: it could not collect taxes. Both the national government and the individual states had racked up massive debt to pay for the war, and their main source of revenue became tariffs, but because Congress couldn't impose them, states had to do it individually. And this made international trade a total nightmare, a fact worsened by the British being kind of cranky about us winning the war and therefore unwilling to trade with us. In 1786 and 1787, the problem got so bad in Massachusetts that farmers rose up and closed the courts to prevent them from foreclosing upon their debt-encumbered farm. This was called Shays' Rebellion after Revolutionary War veteran and indebted farmer Daniel Shays. The uprising was quelled by the state militia, but for many, this was the sign that the Article's government, which couldn't deal with the crisis at all, had to go. But not for everyone. Thomas Jefferson, for instance, was a fan of Shays' Rebellion. A little rebellion now and then is a good thing. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and...
Okay, I was thinking, you know how L. Biden, student loan debt relief was not passed? Not necessarily Biden's fault, but still Supreme Court's fault. What if Biden just made weed legal across the country? Do you guys think he would get more votes? That would I think win the popular vote. I think that would make him win. I mean, there's been murmurings that they'll make it like a, what's it called? What's it called? Like, not a fucking any type of charge. My friend was telling me the other day. But I think if he takes the L on student debt, if he nationalized marijuana, I think genuinely people would love him. Also, if you like the channel, follow. You get cool emotes and the ability to type in chat. Can we get some new follows today, guys? We're 30 minutes in. I know I would.
and tyrants.
I also think the thing I don't like about the states' rights and how states can create their own policy is going back to the concept of like different qualities of life depending on where you live in the states. I don't think it's fair that people can be charged with something in one state and it's totally fine in another. I think that to me is wild. I don't get it.
Which is all fine and good, I mean, unless you're the bleeding patriots or tyrants. But to most elites, Shays' rebellion showed that too much democratic liberty among the lower classes could threaten private property. Also,
Oh no! The lower class having a same policy! Oh no!
people who held government bonds were nervous because without tax revenue, they were unlikely to get paid back. And when rich people feel like something has to be done, something is usually done. Let's
Oh my
go
god, private PPE loans? But not student debt relief?
to the thought bubble. The first attempt to do something was a meeting in Annapolis in 1786 aimed at better regulating international trade. Only 6 states sent delegates, but they agreed to meet the next year in Philadelphia.
Okay, sorry, I keep, because like whenever I watch these videos now, I just think about modern policy, because modern policy is prevalent, right? Because during Biden's speech where he was addressing the Supreme Court's denial of the student debt relief, he was like, because I was talking to my friend, I was like, there's a possibility he might bring up the PPE loans, because like that was basically where business owners could get some type of non-payable, they didn't have to pay it back, like loans. Was it PPE? I think it was PPE loans, or was it PP loans? I don't know, whatever. Like during pandemic, like business owners were given so much fucking money because they could be like, oh, loss of wages, or we're losing money. Like, I don't remember the actual amount, but I think the amount of like actual capital distributed through the PPE loans was double the amount that was projected to be used in the student debt relief program. So it's bringing up the concept of like capital protecting business owners and not the populace. I think what a lot of people don't realize too, with the people who do take out federal loans, a lot of the time, like when you submit your FAFSA, you have to be within a certain income range. Like usually the people who take out federal student loans are people who are in poverty. It's not the richy rich. That's why in Biden's plan where it said if you make less than $250K, you're eligible for relief, because like I said, most people who did apply for federal student loans were impoverished people. And there might have been a point where you had a degree and you did make like higher class income, but still you came from poverty for the most part if you took out a loan. So that's why student loan debt relief will help so many people. And the thing with a lot of American policy, because Democratic policy is still prioritizing capital, it will always prioritize business capital over the betterment of the actual population. And the only reason why that happens is because the companies lobby all the time, and there's so many factors, but the best thing you can do as an individual is make sure you vote in the primaries, make sure you're voting for your local representatives, see what type of activism is being done in your local area. And that's the main thing that you can do on an individual level. Like if you're the type of voter who only votes during presidential, you're not really helping that much. Because I understand the sentiment of like your vote doesn't matter, but in reality, it matters more when you vote for local elections, not just presidential. Anyway.
To revise the Articles of Confederation. The delegates who met in Philly the next year had a funny definition of revision, though. Rather than make tweaks to the Articles, they wrote a new charter of government, the Constitution, which is, with some significant alterations, the same one that Americans live under and argue about today. Despite what some seem to believe, the 55 men who met in Philadelphia and hammered out a new form of government were not gods, but they were far from ordinary, especially for the time. Most were wealthy, some very much so. More than half had college educations, which was super rare since 0.001% of Americans attended college at the time. About 40% had served in the army during the war. But one thing they all shared was a desire for a stronger national government. The delegates agreed on many things. The government should have executive, legislative, and judicial branches and should be Republican with representatives rather than direct democracy. But the devil appeared in the details. Alexander Hamilton, probably the biggest proponent of very strong government, wanted the president and Senate to serve life terms, for example.
Okay,
that
that's
idea went nowhere because
a life-term presidency? That's crazy. That would be insane. I think the part where they were breaking down, I guess demographics of the people who wrote the Constitution, that was interesting to see, because obviously it's the elites writing the policy. Like, you're not necessarily have like the farmers write it. So that's why a lot of policy didn't prioritize it at the time.
Because the overarching concern
For
of almost
policy that
all
is
the
related
delegates was to
to
create a
the more
government that would
impoverished
protect against
population.
both tyranny by the government itself and tyranny by the people. They didn't want too much government, but they also didn't want too much democracy, which is why our presidents are still technically elected not directly by regular people, but by 538 members of the Electoral College. This system is so Byzantine and strange that when American politicians speak of spreading democracy through the world, they never actually advocate for American-style elections. Thanks, Thought Bubble. Yes, I know, you have fantastic elections in Canada. Yeah, right, okay, all that too. I get it. Okay, it's U.S. history, Thought Bubble. So conflicts between competing interests arose quickly at the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia, the first being between states with big populations and those with small populations.
The Electoral College has always been confusing to me. I need to, like, rehash what it is again. They're probably going to talk about it here. I do understand... Isn't the Electoral College to where the concept in which there's representatives based on, like, population? I think. Because I know every state has 2 senators, and then for representatives, it's based on population, which I think makes sense. Both of those make sense.
Large states supported James Madison's Virginia plan, which called for a 2-house legislature with representation in both proportional to a state's population, and smaller states, fearing that the big boys would dominate, rallied behind the New Jersey plan. New Jersey. This called for a single legislative house with equal representation for each state, as with the Articles of Confederation. But
okay, let's be honest, the president can't do much anyway, because there's way too much checks and balances within the judicial branches and then the electorates. So it's like, to me, I think the presidential seat itself is so performative. Your local elective officials and your senators, representatives are so much more important. They have so much more say in actual policy than the president does.
of course, coming from New Jersey, it had no chance of succeeding, and sure enough, it didn't. Instead, we got the Great Compromise, brokered by Connecticut's Roger Sherman, which gave us 2 houses. A House of Representatives with representation proportional to each state's population, and a Senate with 2 members from each state. House members, also called congressmen, served 2-year terms, while senators served 6-year terms, with 1/3 of them being up for election in every 2-year cycle. The House was designed to be responsive to the people, while the Senate was created to never pass anything, and it was so masterfully designed that it still works to this day. However, this solution created another problem: who should be counted in terms of representation? Slaveholding states wanted slaves to count toward their population, even though, of course, they could not vote because they were property. States with few slaves argued that slaves shouldn't be counted as people because, just to be clear, none of these dudes were not racist. This issue was solved with the notorious 3/5 compromise. For the purpose of determining the population, the total number of white people plus 3/5 the population of other persons, the word slave was never used, would be the basis for the calculation. So, yeah, that's still in the Constitution. The Constitution also contains a fugitive slave clause requiring any escaped slave to be returned to their master. And this meant that a slave couldn't escape slavery by moving to a state where slavery was outlawed, which meant that on some level, some states couldn't enforce their own laws. Spoiler alert, this becomes problematic. But except for the tyranny of slavery, the framers really hated tyranny. To avoid tyranny of the government, the Constitution embraced 2 principles: separation of powers and federalism. The government was divided into 3 branches: legislative, executive, and judiciary, and the Constitution incorporated checks and balances. Each branch can check the power of the others. The legislature can make laws, but the president can veto those laws. The judiciary can declare laws void too, but that's a power they had to grant themselves. You won't find it in the Constitution, I promise, you can look for it. And federalism is the idea that governmental authority rests both in the national and the state governments. As an American, I am a citizen both of the United States and of the state of Indiana. And the national government, the one set up by the Constitution, is supposed to be limited in scope to certain enumerated powers. Most other powers, especially the protection of health, safety, and morals, are left to the states. But the Constitution also seeks to protect against the radicalism that too much democracy can bring. The mostly rich framers worried that the people, many of whom were poor and indebted, might vote in congresspeople or, God forbid, a president in favor of, like, redistribution of property. To hedge against this, senators were elected by the states, usually by state legislatures, and they were supposed to be like leading citizen types. You know, the kind of good Americans who take bribes and have adulterous affairs in airport bathrooms and patronize prostitutes and shoot Alexander Hamilton. Anyway, the other hedge against too much democracy is the aforementioned Electoral College, which many Americans hate because it has the potential to elect a president who did not win the popular vote. But that's kind of the point. The electors were supposed to be prominent, educated men of property who were better able to elect a president than, like, the rabble. But the Constitution of the United States is a really impressive document, especially when you consider its longevity. I mean, as Crash Course World History fans will remember, the nation-state is pretty new on the historical scene, and the United States established by the Constitution is actually one of the oldest ones. But the Constitution would be meaningless if it hadn't been ratified, which it was, but not without a fight that helped clarify America's political ideology. 9 out of the 13 states were required to ratify the Constitution, and special conventions called for the purpose. In order to convince the delegates to vote for it, 3 of the framers, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay, wrote a series of 85 essays that together are known as the Federalist Papers. Taken together, they're a powerful and ultimately persuasive argument for why a strong national government is.
I want to look up how much of the American population actually votes. Because I know a lot of people shit on, like, the Electoral College, and, like, the main point, like, they're saying is, like, to make decisions for the people who they deemed unable to decide for themselves, right? Okay, how much of American population votes? Because anecdotal-wise, I know a few people who, like, don't like current policy or didn't like the current or past people who were elected. And then when you ask them, did you vote? They say no. Okay, let's see. 2022 voting and registration data. Turnout rates for the citizen voting age population differed by length of residence. 67.6 for those living in the same place for 5 years, and 40% for those in their current residence for 1 year or less. What? That makes... What? I just want to know how many of the population actually voted. Oh yeah, the 2020 presidential election had the highest voter turnout of the 21st century, with 66.8% of citizens 18 or older voting. But still, 70%, if we're going to round up and be nice, 70%, that's wild to think that so many people who can vote don't. And I do think it brings up the point of people feeling like they have no say in policy. But then there's also the argument of, like, access to, like, or being able to vote. I think another big problem is that, what is it called? Election day is not a holiday. Like, some people have to work. And a lot of states are enacting ordinances to where you have to vote in person, or you can't do mail-in prior. It's all restricting people from voting. So I think it'll be interesting to see, like, how it'll change in the next 20 years. Like, will there be less people voting because of all the restrictions, or will people still, like, find a way? I don't know. I was lucky. In Washington, we have mail-ahead voting. There's in-person voting. You know, I always do mail-ahead. Most every public building has a drop-off box for your ballot. You can mail in your ballot. I love Washington,
is necessary
man.
and ultimately not a threat to people's liberty. Oh, it's time for the mystery document? The whole idea of the Second Amendment was that the people could protect them. So I appreciate papers, Alexander Hamilton.
Second Amendment, where's all the gun nuts?
Too easy, Stan, although I appreciate the opportunity for a rant. The whole idea of the Second Amendment was that the people could protect themselves from a standing army by being equally well armed. Which these days would mean not that citizens should have the right to buy assault rifles, but that they should have the right to buy, like, unmanned drones. And arguably suitcase nukes. And by the way, in the Constitution, this is not listed as a privilege, it is listed as a right. And as a right, if I can't afford my own Predator drone, I guess the government should buy one for me. It's almost as if Alexander Hamilton had no way of knowing that weaponry would one day advance past the musket. P.S. You know how Alexander Hamilton died? Gunshot! Sorry, I had to. I am on a roll. So it would be easy to ignore the people who opposed the Constitution because, you know, they lost. But some of the ideas of these so-called anti-federalists were particularly powerful, and they deserve a bit of attention. Anti-federalists, unlike the mostly wealthy federalists, were usually supported by common people, small farmers who weren't as involved in commercial activity. They saw less need for a strong national government that would foster trade and protect creditors. And the anti-federalists were very afraid of a strong government, especially one dominated by the wealthy. Writers like James Winthrop held that a large group of United States would be like an empire, and that no extensive empire can be governed upon republican principles. As evidence, he could point to Britain, or all the way back
Why would impoverished people be against national legislation? I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Because either way, the policymakers will most likely be the wealthier classes, right? Because they would have the means to, like, conduct or, like, run for elections. But why would they want more state-driven policy? Well, I guess maybe their votes would have more impact on it? Huh, that's...
Back to Rome. Smaller, more
weird.
local governments are more responsive to the people and better able to protect
Oh,
their
okay.
rights.
He says it right there. Yeah, with local policy, you have more say. So yeah, that would make sense that they would want more local policy. Okay, never mind.
It's to the anti-federalists, that meant state governments. And while ultimately the Federalists won out and the Constitution was ratified, the issue of how large government should be did not go away. So the Constitution was really only a starting point. It's a vague document, and the details would be worked out in the political process, and then on the battlefield. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Crash course!
Okay, that one is actually interesting. Like the part where they were talking about like how more impoverished people were gravitating more towards state policy. I think that makes a bit more sense now. But I feel like for certain issues there should be national policy. I don't it's hard. I don't know. Because even if there is national policy, it's still dictated by, like, state representatives. It's not, like, just the wealthy from, like, all one state. I don't know. Okay, guys. Now that we've learned a bit about history, I know some of you guys have fallen asleep, and that's fine. Here, Mario will wake you up. Now that we've done our little history lesson, I did take notes. I also, this one, I think is very important. You know, write this down. This is an open note quiz. Everybody get your number 2B pencils out. Okay. I actually do have a quiz. Oh, wrong one. Okay. July 4th quiz. How well do you know American symbols? July 4th, 2021. Okay, the Statue of Liberty was gifted to the people of the United States in 1886 by which country? It was France. Yes, sir. The statue was designed by French sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi. It was presented as a gift from the people of France to the people of the States. Very nice. What substance gives the Statue of Liberty its iconic green hue? Oh wait, skip the song. This one gets me claimed. Skip. Yeah, because copper turns green. Yes! Like, your pennies turn green. Lady Liberty's verdigris comes from her 31 tons of copper plating. Why is this blurred? Why is it blurred? Okay. Is this lively? What? Okay, we all know that the bald eagle is the national bird of the States. What other bird did Benjamin Franklin once jokingly say would be a more fitting national symbol? Yeah, don't worry, Angie, you're fine. I'm not looking at chat. I'm not cheating. This is an open notes quiz, so don't worry. I think it was turkey. Yeah! Franklin once wrote in a letter to his daughter that the turkey is a much more respectable bird than the bald eagle, and is, though a little vain and silly, a bird of courage. Okay, what is the national mammal of the United States? Okay, the Chesapeake Bay Retriever, the American Bison, the American Black Bear, the White-tailed Deer. Okay, looking at the picture, I think having the picture here is cheating. But it looks like a bison. And if we think about when, like, national, I guess, symbols were made, I feel like they're added during times of turmoil. Oh, wait, okay. What is the Chesapeake Bay Retriever? That sounds like a dog. The black bear. We killed them, so why would we love them? The white-tailed deer. But we killed all the bison. I'm saying bison because the picture looks like bison, but... Oh, in 2016? The American bison was officially named the national mammal of the United States. 2016? What? What? The Star-Spangled Banner was written by Francis Scott Key during which major U.S. war? Oh, I don't know. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air. It proved to the night that our flag was still there. Civil War, I think, is a bit too far. Revolutionary is too early. I'm gonna say 1812. Yes! Okay. Key, a slave owner, wrote the poem that would become our national anthem after witnessing the bombardment of Fort McHenry in 1814 during the War of 1812. What was the War of 1812 about? I forgot. I don't know. Guys, I got a 3 on my AP-ish exam. I failed. Because, like, history is so hard because there's so much, like, memorization. That's why, like, I am very much better with policy than, like, dates. Is a 3 good? No. For the AP testing, you get a 1, 2, 3, or 5, and in order to get the college credit, you have to get a 4 or 5. So, the only AP exam... I passed all my AP exams in my senior year. I got a 4 on my Spanish. How tall is the Washington Monument in D.C.? I don't know. Wait, let's get our little parabolas out. Let's do the math. You know, make a right angle here, measure the distance. I'm gonna say 704. No, it's 555? What? At 555 feet, the Washington Monument was the tallest structure in the world when it was completed in 1884. It is still the tallest building in Washington, and the tallest obelisk in the world. How tall is 555 feet? Because, like, the average floor is 10 feet, right? Can you go to the top of it? Or is it just, like, a huge statue? I've never gone to DC. You know, going to DC in high school is like the rich kid field trip. El pluribus unum is the motto that appears on the front of the Great Seal of the United States. What does this mean? I don't know. All for one and one for all. Fuck! It means out of many one, and was considered the de facto motto of the United States until Congress passed an act in 1956 making "In God We Trust" the official motto. Ooh! In the early 1900s, several influential Americans planned a new memorial overlooking the New York Harbor, near the Statue of Liberty. It was never finished. What group was the monument supposed to commemorate? Ooh, okay, 1900s, early 1900s. When was the labor movement? Okay, Native Americans, victims of the slave trade. No way they would do that in 1900s. There was still segregation. There'd be no way. Immigrants who died coming to the U.S. They hate immigrants. Factory workers. I'm leaning towards Native Americans or factory workers. Because the Industrial Revolution was mid-1800s. Early 1900s was pre-war times. I do feel like that is when, like, labor movements were on the rise. I'm gonna say factory workers. No, it was Native Americans! No wonder it never got built. We Americans don't like Native Americans. The proposed National American Indian Memorial never got off the ground. It had healthy public support, But while some people thought it would be a tribute to Native Americans who had lost their lives, others saw it as a potential monument of victory over Native tribes. Oh. Dude, the fucking libs only caring about optics? Screw the libs. Okay, in the 1970s, Chevrolet ran an iconic ad campaign that summed up 3 of America's favorite things. Complete the jingle. I love baseball, hot dogs, blank, and Chevrolet. It's pie. If I didn't have the picture, I wouldn't have known. I don't know. All together now. I love baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. Hashtag not an ad Twitch. This is not an ad. I'm doing a quiz. And thank our European forebears for bringing the concept of apple pie to our shores. Okay, controversial. I think apple pie is the worst pie. The pie, like the apple is not good. Okay, last question. The Liberty Bell stands near Independence Hall in Philadelphia. What famous saying is inscribed on its side? A quote from George Washington, a Bible verse, the opening of the Declaration of Independence, a Latin motto. I'm gonna say Latin. Fuck you! The quote on the side of the Liberty Bell reads, "Proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof," which is a verse from the book of Leviticus. The bell was cast in 1952 but did not become a major national tombstone. It was not rightly referred to as the Liberty Bell until abolitionists adopted it as a symbol of freedom in the decades leading up to the Civil War. Huh. You got 6 out of 10, not bad. Dude, I failed. I'm a fake American. You know who else is a fake? People who are non-subs. I'm kidding. I'm kidding! Guys, we're 2 hours in a stream, so it's time for me to run some ads. You can avoid that ad by subscribing for $4.99, just $5. Skip your coffee and get ad-free viewing all month long. Or, you can link your Amazon Prime to Twitch and hashtag sub for free with Prime. Click subscribe. See if you have a sub available. Also, if you're new here, follow. If you're watching and you're not following, click follow. You get cool emotes and the ability to type in chat. Go to office hours and ask for a grade bump. Kim, stop. 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 Okay, I have one more quiz. This one is more like actual history shit. Okay. Another quiz. This one is actually about 4th of July. Oh yeah, now I gotta... There we go. Green was dark. Now you want to be piss yellow? Okay, anyway, sorry. If you guys have a Twitch Turbo or a Twitch Prime sub, you can get a custom chat color. That's why my chat color is pastel. Okay, another quiz. This one is actually about independence. 10 questions. Guys, this will be on your final grade. What historical event do Americans celebrate on the 4th of July? Oh, what? Stop. The official signing of the Declaration of Independence, George Washington's birthday, the first shots of the American Revolution, and the formal adoption of the Declaration of Independence. Oh no! Okay, because the American Revolution was before, but then American Independence was when it was signed. Because it was drafted a few days before. Okay, formal adoption of the Declaration. Official signing. Okay, but for the adoption of the Declaration, it would have had to be acknowledged by, like, Britain, right? Oh, I think A. I think it's A. I think it's A. No! The formal adoption of the Declaration of Independence. On July 2nd, 1776, The Continental Congress voted to approve a motion by Virginia to separate from Britain. 2 days later, the Declaration proclaiming the independence of the United States from Great Britain and its king was formally adopted by 12 colonies. Damn it! I was on the right track. Chat was right, whatever. When were fireworks first used in an official 4th of July celebration? It was used after. 1776. Yeah, it was a year after. Yes! Congress authorized using fireworks to help mark the first anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. The celebration, which took place in Philadelphia, also included bonfires and bells. See, I told you guys watching the videos and paying attention would help you pass the quiz! Which president first held a 4th of July celebration at the White House? Wouldn't it be George Washington, because he was the first president? I'm gonna say Big W. Damn it, it was Jefferson. Okay. Though John Adams was the first president to occupy the White House, oh yeah, it wasn't built! It was Thomas Jefferson who, on July 4th, 1801, opened the Executive Mansion to diplomats, civil and military offers, and Cherokee chiefs. The Marine Band performed the President's March, later retitled Hail Columbia and other patriotic airs. Okay, which newspaper first printed the Declaration of Independence? I don't know. I just watched CNN. I'm kidding. This website, this quiz is from AARP. Okay, it's not the New York Times. Wait, did you guys see the New York Times article to where they were talking about student loan debt relief and they were talking about ways to get out of your debt, and then they put death? Because if you die and you have student loans, they just relieve it. Not saying that you should like unalive, because that's very bad. Don't ever do that. Not even joking. People were memeing about it on Twitter, but it's like it's wild to think how morbid it was that the Times put it in the article. Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna say the National... Oh, wait. Okay, I'm gonna use my big brain. Which newspaper first printed it? It's probably gonna be some, like, local paper. The Philadelphia Eagle. Go! Okay. Answer: the Pennsylvania Evening Post. After John Dunlop of Philadelphia printed copies of the Declaration for the Continental Congress on July 4th, 1776, printers throughout the colonies produced their own versions. The one from the Pennsylvania Evening Post came out on July 6, 1776. Wait, where is Philadelphia? I don't know. Where is Philadelphia? Somebody tell me. Okay, which two US presidents died on July 4th in the same year? Oh wait, they showed that on screen. They literally showed this in the video. I think it was Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. Yes! Because one of them died after getting shot. The two former presidents, once fellow patriots and later political rivals, died within hours of each other on July 4th, 1826. Jefferson was 83, Adams was 90. Wait, was this in Hamilton? Was this in Hamilton? I actually want to watch Hamilton again, but my sister canceled our Disney Plus plan. Okay, which US president was born on Independence Day? Am I supposed to know birthdays? It's the tilted rectangle state. Kansas? Just tell me the name of the state. Pencil State? What is this Pictionary-esque game you guys are playing? Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna say Ronald Reagan. God damn it. Okay. Calvin Coolidge, the 30th president, was born on July 4th, 1872, in Plymouth Notch, Vermont. He was the only president born on Independence Day. Dude, his parents knew what was going on. Wait, is this Eastward music? Oh, it's not. This sounds like Eastward. Okay, what is the estimated number of people living in the 13 colonies in July 4th, 1776? Okay. In that one part of the video, they said like 100,000 slaves enlisted for Britain. So if there were 100,000 slaves who enlisted, how many colonists were there? 15 million? I don't think there was any way there was like 1 million people in every state. Yeah, I'm thinking B too. I'm gonna say B. Really? 2.5 million. The estimate comes from the US Census Bureau. Nah, whatever. I just guessed. Oh my, I'm looking at this. 2 correct, 5 incorrect. Okay, when did the 4th of July become a federal holiday? Oh, I know it was the 1800s. It's 1870 or 1876. Because then I was clowning because they were saying it. Wait, no. Wait, no. It is a federal holiday, I know that. But they were saying like people got... Oh, it was an unpaid holiday in 18-something and then a paid holiday in like the early 1900s. Oh, how did they do a census back then? I mean, they probably just like literally knocking on people's doors. Or they could have like looked at like birth records. 1776. No way it's 100 years later. That'd be too easy. I'm gonna say 1870. Yeah! Congress reaffirmed the holiday in 1938 and mandated full pay for federal employees. Okay, which of the following was not of the original 13 American colonies? Vermont, Georgia, Massachusetts, or North Carolina? Wait, there was one... Oh, sad song. Everybody get your tissues out. I'm gonna say Georgia, because in the video, there was one guy who was like, Georgia, and he was off to the side. I'm gonna say Georgia. Vermont. The other 10 were Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, and Virginia. The colonies became the first 13 states. Vermont became the 14th on March 4th, 1791. I don't know this shit. It's all memory. I just remember like shit happening, but names I can't do. What is this? What baseball player threw a 4-0 no-hitter against the Boston Red Sox on July 4th? I don't know. I'll do D. Oh my god. I can't. When I actually don't try and get it right, this is so dumb. Always guess B, guys, on your bubble test. Okay, Dave Rigetti of the New York Yankees. It was the Yankees' first no-hitter in 27 years. Former President Richard Nixon was there and sent Rigetti a congratulatory letter. I got a 40. Oh my god, see? You know what this just proves? You don't gotta fucking study. All you gotta do is guess. Cause I feel like if you know the general things, then you're solid. You're good. You're gonna have to retake the class. I'm gonna have to do summer classes, y'all. It was a good guess because Yankees are one of the oldest teams. Oh, I don't know anything about sports, man. But sports are very American. Okay, guys. I think we've done enough learning today. Let's do some fireworks. And by doing fireworks, we're gonna watch some videos because I am way too scared of doing fireworks at home. I've never done them. I remember there was one time, I was walking down a trail with my friend. This was years ago, and they had like one of those spinners in their pocket, and it was a paved trail, and they just threw it on the pavement, and I was freaking out because we were going through like a forest. It was a forest trail, and I was like, you're gonna start a forest fire. But nah, because like by our unit, there's like a huge fireworks tent like across the street. But I've had like nightmares the past few nights of like blowing up. But anyway, I would never. I don't want to do fireworks. I don't want to do it. I told y'all how like a friend of a friend had like half their fingers blown off. I just don't want to mess with it, you know? So let's watch some little videos. You know, we'll do a little bit of... I found some fun... okay, I think you guys were good. You guys were very good today. wait. I think you guys were very good today. You blow up your student loans. Go away. Stop. The NYT's got you. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my god. Holy. Okay, guys. Since you guys were good, you guys were very good today. Let's watch some Mr. Beast.
Expensive firework in the entire world. This is the most expensive firework in the entire world, and it cost me over $160,000. And I also bought a $5,000 firework, a $10,000 one, and this big behemoth right here is a $40,000 firework. And everything here, we spent over $600,000 on this video, and every single firework will be launched. Starting with this one, it costs $1. Chandler, go launch it.
It's lighting. That was kind of lame.
Here's a
You've never seen a Mr. Beast video? That is your homework for tonight. Go watch like his most popular ones. What is wrong with you,
Let's see if
Kim?
it's better.
Jeez, you started popping off around our time,
Here's
Kim.
a
Come on.
$50 firework. We're gonna go up to 200 grand. Go.
It's on fire, but it's not. I don't like it.
Oh my god, Carl Jacobs.
Oh. I can't wait till you see the $200,000 firework. I don't know why I'm holding up a 7.
That was a little step up from last time. I like it.
Chris just had a baby, as you see here. It's really adorable, good for him. Hence why he's not here today. Here's the $375 firework. You're Chris for the day, go light it.
Someone give me a lighter.
This is $375.
I'm so afraid.
Oh,
So much. Oh. It's so colorful.
wow.
This is spectacular. How is it gonna get better than that?
I got a $1,000 firework with your name on it.
My name?
Let's go get it. $1,000.
Where's my name?
Bada bang, ka-chow. Those 9 boxes combined equal $1,000.
Damn.
Oh shoot. We're gonna die.
Oh, dude, I don't think I could ever get like this close to fireworks. I can't do it.
Oh my goodness.
The drone survived! This next firework is the most epic thing you have ever seen. This mortar will leave this tube at 500 feet per second.
Speed, baby.
It weighs 160 pounds, which is more than Carl.
But I'm brighter.
We even had to get FAA clearance to light this. There can't be planes in the sky.
All right, buddy. Go boom for us.
We're gonna light it, but you guys have to go 500 feet away. So step 1 is you hit the power on, and then I was told to turn this key. Okay, now it's beeping. There's a lot of buttons, but they told me this is the one that mattered. Chandler, give me a countdown.
3.
Fire! Oh my god. Whoa. That looks like a nuke.
Yo, that was insane.
This is Manny, and Manny wants to fly. So we strapped 100 rockets to him.
We needed it to get in the air. We decided we had to dress it pretty fly. You know what I'm saying? We had to get it up there.
I do want to go to like an actual fireworks show one year. They always do one in Seattle, and I do want to go one year, maybe next year.
.com.
Buy it!
I got the Cobra,
Like they show
boys.
on TV.
Chandler, I'm gonna let you do it.
3, 2,
1.
Oh, dude, no! Oh no!
What did we put in there?
Why did the fireworks blow up? Why didn't we just have fireworks that just went up?
Bro, they like went
Oh,
over like
Did it
no,
look like
that's so
aliens
bad.
were attacking
Oh,
us?
Wait a second.
no.
Where's Manny?
Like my biggest fear, if I ever go to like some like friends firework thing, is like one of them shooting off and hitting the whole stack of fireworks. Oh, I've seen like videos of that, like that shit happening. Oh my god, I can't.
Manny, are you?
He's right here.
No!
Where's his head?
No!
Oh. I've always wanted to launch a bunch of fireworks in a car. What does it do? Does it ricochet? Does the car blow up? Who knows? 3, 2, 1.
Oh my god, Mario Kart.
Oh, it blew up.
I think it's ricocheting. It is.
That's
They've
terrifying.
got glass. It's safe.
Whoa! Oh, shoot!
It's on fire.
Oh, it is?
Yo, there's a fire. There's a fire straight up.
Yeah, it's on fire.
We want to blow stuff up, so that's what we're gonna do.
Okay, that wasn't as cool as I thought it'd be. I wanted to just like
We're gonna light
combust.
this one, and it's gonna go boom.
Light me.
We're lit.
No. Yo, watch. Yo. Look at the fire. That's as ferocious as it's gotten. Bro, it just engulfed. Yo, the fire is engulfing it. Look at it. Oh, run. Yo.
This looks like fun. I would do
Now
this.
that's what
All you gotta do is get on Mr. Beast's crew.
In the past, I microwaved a microwave. And after that, I microwaved a microwave, microwaving a microwave.
Mac,
I
let's
grew the
do this to
microwave,
your car. In Minecraft.
A microwave, microwaving
Mr. Beast did
toasting
say
an
not to
iPhone,
try this
watching
at home,
microwaving
guys.
A microwave. I have a lot of experience with microwaves. And tonight, we're microwaving a firework.
Oh shoot.
All right, let's see what happens. How
long
is it cooking for?
I did it for a minute. I was told we only
Let
needed
him
a
cook.
minute.
It's gonna be so loud.
This is supposed to explode like 1,000 feet in the air.
Oh,
Is it?
Yeah. Guys, we got bulletproof glass. We're fine.
4 seconds left.
I thought it was gonna.
Oh my god.
That was
For this next scene, we have hundreds of drones.
Wait, I wanna see
here,
that
and we're
again.
4 seconds left.
I thought it was gonna.
It's so funny how like everybody jumped back.
For this next scene, we have hundreds of drones here, and we're gonna do something very cool. Just watch. Hundreds of drones are currently flying up in the sky, and they're about to disappear. Just you guys wait, I have something really cool planned. Here's how it works. Whatever you say in this walkie-talkie, the drones will spell. Burger.
No way.
What? What does that say?
Oh my gosh.
Chandler, what does that say?
Oh my god.
Burger.
Those hundreds of drones currently spell burger in the sky. You could see that a mile away. What do you want the drone to spell?
Cheese balls. Cheese balls.
Okay, come over here.
Oh.
This next one, I like crisp pre-picket. I don't even know what it is. Oh, of course he did the gotcha symbol.
I love my mom.
Okay, I'm
Is he gonna blow him up?
Stop. He's gonna get so mad.
Bruh!
I mean, were these drones included in the $600,000 budget? I don't think so.
The drones are broken.
My name's Carl with a K! Stop doing this!
You thought in this video we'd just have epic fireworks? No, we have tons of cool stuff. We're just getting started. What's a 4th of July show without sparklers?
It's a bad 4th of July without sparklers.
I agree. These are normal sparklers that you could buy, but they're lame, so activate the project. Bazinga!
Not gonna lie, sparklers kind of scared me when I was little.
Oh my gosh! We bought 520 sparklers and drew our logo.
Woo!
Carl!
Is this fake, man?
There's nothing fake about it. I'm an expert. Like, they don't make t-shirts that lie. Let me show you around. I'm the expert, all right? So what's gonna happen is it's gonna explode.
Bang!
Why did that get me?
See how it didn't move at all?
Now we're gonna launch 150 fireworks at the same time. We had a lot sitting on the table, so we're just gonna do them all at once.
We're about to see 150 explosions.
Let's do it
Let's
all
watch it.
right now.
We're back in command center.
I'm pumped, dude. This is about to be sick.
3, 3, 3. I'm really excited for the $40,000 fireworks. It's gonna be that, but 40 times better.
That's just math.
It's officially time for the big boy fireworks to come out. A $10,000 fireworks show. Give me a countdown and I'll launch it.
Dude,
I don't care, I'm launching. Fire!
Oh!
I farted.
This isn't just one firework. This is an entire show.
They're like little popcorns.
A little bit bigger than popcorn.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Did you guys enjoy that show?
It was loud. It was good.
My voice cracked.
It was good.
I think we could all agree the 10K show was cool,
Yeah,
but it was a little long. That entire 5-minute show that you just watched, they're all gonna launch at the same time now. Tyler, when you press fire, you are gonna launch 4,000 shells at the exact same time.
This is too much power.
I am terrified.
3, 2, 1, fire!
Oh, wow.
That was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Dude, that was dope. That was
Guys, that was dope.
I'm not gonna lie.
That was dope.
That was
pushed the
dope.
button. I mean,
Things are about to get crazy. This is a $40,000 firework. I could have bought a car. I could have put a down payment on a house. I could have given Chandler 40 grand. Or I could have bought 10,000 copies of Shrek, but I did none of that, and I bought a $40,000 firework. This $40,000 firework is literally gonna blow your socks off.
No pun intended.
It is over 9,000 shells. That $10,000 firework was 4,000 shells. This is going to be 4 times bigger. $40,000 is a lot of money. There's a lot of stuff we could do with this.
3, 2, 1.
Imagine having money like this. I agree, but then it's like, I don't know, if you make good shit, I think it's better than like investing it, you know what I mean? But damn. Okay, this one looks stupid. You can't even see the little fireworks. That one was dumb.
I thought I was gonna die.
Minus
That was
40K.
That was the best thing. I can't hear.
How are we not arrested? I literally had to back up. It was so bright.
I know. Now that we did that, was that worth a Tesla Model 3?
Yes.
Speak for yourself.
That was $10,000 a second of flashing light. That's $40,000.
Bye, Kim.
Imagine
See you later, hon. Thanks for bringing it out.
$160,000.
Hope the new
It
job
doesn't get
goes
better than
well,
that. We
hon.
just peaked.
We'll see.
Bro, are you kidding me? Look at this one. I can fit inside that. Do you think I could fit my head in this one?
I wouldn't tell you.
And don't get fired.
It's not even on.
Ready to see the world's largest firework and get light up the sky!
It's about to be freaking nuts.
We are about to launch the largest firework anyone in mankind's history has ever seen. Literally a world record. $160,000. 4,000 pounds, 15 feet deep holes. We literally needed a forklift. First things first, you have to turn control panel on.
I'm gonna have to mute in a
then turn the
minute,
key.
guys.
Oh my god.
Let's all press it together. Give it a countdown.
shaking.
5,
4,
3, 2, skip if you
1.
want.
Oh, there's yo, you can hear that.
I felt it in my chest. Oh, they're up there. Oh my god. That is so bright.
It's literally raining fire for like a mile. It's so scary.
Okay, that one was insane.
What were your thoughts, Chandler?
On the second boom, I heard like this whoosh.
All around us.
Literally.
Fireworks
I felt it in
have
my
gone too
chest.
far.
We're
I
2,000
can
feet
still
away.
feel it.
Anyone else still just shaking a little bit from that shock
I had
wave?
to like realign my heart.
I know. I still feel it in my chest. Was that better or worse than you thought it would be?
That was
Way better.
spectacular.
The $10,000 one was a little better.
And that, boys, was the biggest firework in the history of mankind. Hit the subscribe button. Goodbye.
Hit it now!
Okay, this one. I saw.
Lord of the Rings meets the real world. These rare fireworks use different techniques with awe-inspiring results, from dragons to shapeshifters. Join me as we take a look at 15 rare fireworks that look
Top
incredible.
15 fireworks.
Number 15, the dragon firework. Most fireworks shoot up, go off, and then fizzle away. However, this dragon firework works a little bit differently. That's because after it's set off, the flames shoot out and then begin to dance around the sky. And they appear to race each other along twists.
Yeah, like you know how the Pokemon movies, how there's like Pokemon themed fireworks? I feel like the drone fireworks, you can make literally anything with it. I know some, I saw like a headline of an article saying like, obviously the drone ones are a bit more ethical because it's not like wasting material or like gonna cause fires. But I think the spectacle, or I guess craftsmanship of fireworks, like traditional ones, are kind of cool. But I also do hate how like smoky it is.
Turns in a way that makes them look a lot like a flying dragon. Yet while these dragon
Yeah, I gotta mute.
fireworks are cool, they aren't all that easy to come by, so chances are you wouldn't be able to fire one of these off in your backyard. Number 14, the fiery eye. While there are various types of spinning fireworks, few are quite like the fiery eye, made by Brothers Fireworks. When launched, it starts out as a dark circle with spinning bands.
Coast is clear. Hi,
Gradually, these
Angie.
bands
Welcome back.
speed up until the firework looks exactly like an eyeball, as it has a black pupil, a blue iris, and a red border around the iris.
This one's alright. I like the
and
dragon
a white
one better.
shooting effect around the iris to complete the eyeball look. If you launch two of them side by side, you have the makings of a cool yet somewhat creepy fireworks show.
Oh my god, fidget
Number
spinner
13,
firework.
Plane fireworks. If you've ever been to an air show, then you've seen planes duck, dive, and flip all over the place. However, an Australian airplane firm by the name of HD Melbourne Aviation have taken things to a new extreme by creating fireworks that shoot out of their specialty stunt airplane, which is known as the Scandinavian Catwalk. The Scandinavian Catwalk went viral after it performed at the Aviation Air Show in Melbourne, and that's because as Sandstorm by Darude played in the background, it soared through the sky, shooting lasers and aerial fireworks all the while. As it did so, some of the fireworks were crazier than others, with a few appearing to engulf the entire plane in flames for long periods of time, making it look more like a shooting fireball than a stunt aircraft. So yeah, it's fair to say that these specialty fireworks truly are unique. Number 12. Loudest firework. We can all agree that fireworks are pretty loud, with the sound often being compared to that of a gun being shot or a bomb going off, by being absolutely ear-shattering. And according to Epic Fireworks, which is the UK's largest online fireworks supplier, the Dum Bum 49 shot is easily one of the world's loudest. Given a noise rating of 10 out of 10, they give off, quote, intense, powerful blasts that can often be felt in your chest, end quote. And if that's not enough power for you, Epic Fireworks even sells a Dum Bum noise pack that can bring the noise up to 11. Yet it's not a surprise, given that how loud these crazy fireworks are rarely purchased for fireworks shows, making them truly a rare find. Number 11. Chocolate fireworks. While this may sound a little crazy, on December 31st of 2002, the chocolate conglomerate Nestle kicked off the new year by setting off a chocolate firework. Measuring in at 3 meters in height and 1.5 meters in diameter, it contains 60 kilograms of Swiss chocolates and was released at the Hechtplatz in Zurich, Switzerland. When lit, it reportedly exploded and released all 60 kilograms of chocolate, and as such, it attained the Guinness World Record for being the world's largest chocolate firework. Yet this chocolate firework leaves a few questions unanswered. After all, how in the world was it possible to heat up a firework to a temperature that was hot enough for it to explode, but cool enough not to melt all the chocolate inside? Unfortunately, we'll probably never know, as there appears to be no videos online that shows a recording of the event.
It's a conspiracy.
10,
it did not
fireworks
happen.
Glasses. When you see a fireworks show, you can expect to see cool explosions, flashing lights, and bright colors. However, if you manage to find a special pair of 3D fireworks glasses, you can take your experience to a whole new level. Sold by American Paper Optics, these glasses have holographic diffraction grating lenses that break light into amazing rainbow bursts.
Oh, so it's like a kaleidoscope.
Looking for,
or like those drunk glasses you can get.
For example, while most of them allow you to see a rainbow spectrum of colors within the firework, some, such as the trippy diffraction glasses, have tie-dye frames and supposedly allow you to see a psychedelic string of colors. So if you want the fireworks experience of a lifetime, then I highly suggest trying to get your hands on some of these before the next major holiday. Number 9. Under ice fireworks. When you see a frozen lake, chances are that your first thought isn't to shoot fireworks at it. Yet in 2008, a group of Swedish guys looking for a good time created a viral video of themselves doing just that. In the video, they light several fireworks underwater and then watch as they travel under the ice and create a massive water explosion. While it may seem strange that fireworks don't go out if placed underwater, they manage to stay lit because of the combustion reaction occurring as the firework goes off. It provides itself with enough oxygen to stay alight. This is very similar to how spaceships are able to function, and despite being in the vacuum of space, the oxygen in their combustion compensates for their lack of oxygen in their surroundings.
Oh no!
In any case, while this display is cool, it should be noted that firework explosions are magnified underwater, and they can also cause the local fish to die and then float to the surface. So while they may be cool, I wouldn't suggest setting them off at your local lake or pond.
Yeah, don't do this.
Number 8. Shapeshifters. Let's face it, most fireworks aren't all that memorable. After all, while they make a loud noise and produce a colorful explosion, most will more or less be forgotten in a few days. However, there are some fireworks that distinguish themselves from the rest by exploding into different shapes. You see, in order to make a shaped firework, all the individual firework casings have to be lined up into the desired configuration. For example, if they're placed in the shape of a smiley face, they should, in theory, create a smiley face.
Oh.
However, this sometimes isn't enough, as it can often be difficult to make sure they're consistent within your line of sight. That's because depending on what angle you're standing at, there's this from happening. This makes
Let's skip that one.
footage to And it's
I
not
wanted to
hard
show
to see
them in
why.
bed.
After all, they can do everything from providing fantastic footage to acting as a security detail. Yet it turns out that they aren't just putting photographers and security guards out of business. That's because reportedly drone light shows can make a great alternative to fireworks. While drone light shows are still quite new, they're beginning to become more popular because they're not only reusable, but also don't produce the chemical or noise pollution caused by fireworks. In order for a drone to partake in such a show, it only has to be equipped with a good GPS and an LED light system, with some drones, such as those made by Intel, being able to produce more than 4 billion light combinations. However, to date, there are only a few dozen companies worldwide that have the proper permits, training, and technical skills and supplies to plan and carry out such a large-scale drone show. So while these shows may be rare,
They look
they're
like
proving to be a
holograms.
lucrative industry moving into the future. Number 6. Long exposure fireworks. When filming fireworks, your phone camera is definitely a little bit limiting. After all, you need a professional DSLR camera in order to capture fireworks in this way. And while the upfront cost may be expensive, DSLRs allow you to get the types of pictures that few can
I have a
ever claim
DSLR.
to have in their photo album.
I
Now,
do
the
want to
first
get
step
another
to
one.
taking a long exposure
Guys, I have to tell you about my plasma after this video. Remind me.
firework picture is to mount your DSLR on a tripod. Then you've got to turn on long exposure noise reduction. Prepare your camera to a setting that produces the highest quality file size possible. Set the camera to an ISO of 200 or lower and have an aperture of about f11. Then instead of choosing a shutter speed, set the camera to bulb or B, which allows you to keep the shutter open for as long as you desire. You then expose an entire fireworks burst while keeping the camera manually focused towards it. The end result is a shot that makes the fireworks look 3D. And given how this is impossible to see in real life, we'd say that these hard-to-produce firework pictures are usually far cooler than the real deal. Number 5. Underwater fireworks. Generally speaking, most fireworks we look at occur high in the sky. However, there are
My
a couple
mom
of ways to
says we
create
have
fireworks of
fireworks at
sorts that
home.
are entirely produced underwater. The easiest way is through the use of some water, oil, and food dye. More specifically, the experiment involves putting room temperature water in one glass and oil with different colors of food coloring that are very lightly mixed inside another. Once the two cups are ready, you have to pour the oil into the water glass. And because they don't mix, the oil remains on top with the food coloring. Then, slowly, the food coloring drops begin to fall out of the oil suspension and into the water, creating a colored underwater fireworks show. If you want to see some more heavy-duty underwater fireworks, then you'll have to mix some more heavy-duty substances. More specifically, if you mix distilled water, 100 milliliters of bleach solution, 10 milliliters of hydrochloric acid, and 2 to 3 pebble-sized pieces of calcium carbide, you can create a reaction where underwater sparks that look like fireworks begin to occur as these different parts mix together.
Don't try this at home.
Yet, unless you get all the timing just right, it's difficult to pull these crazy fireworks off. Don't forget to wear your safety goggles. Number 4. The Catherine Wheel. While Catherine wheels are some of the oldest fireworks out there, you usually don't see them at your typical fireworks show. Essentially, Catherine wheels are usually powder-filled spiral tubes that look a lot like wheels, and when ignited, not only create sparks and flames, but also rotate quickly in order to create an incredible spinning motion. While these fireworks may seem pretty advanced, they actually first came about all the way back in 1761. This perhaps explains why they have a name that is very Christian in origin. You see, the Catherine wheel was named after St. Catherine of Alexandria, who, after being condemned to death and ordered to be crushed by a massive wheel, allegedly managed to avoid this terrible torture by touching the wheel, which caused it to miraculously fall to pieces. Now, while you don't need to worry about your Catherine wheel falling to pieces, they are sometimes avoided due to their potential to spin out of control if not set off properly. Yet that hasn't stopped professionals from trying to make these wheels as massive as possible. To date, the largest Catherine wheel was made by Lilly Fireworks Factory in Malta in June of 2011. It comes in at a total of 32 meters in diameter. The whole thing was freestanding and managed to complete a total of 4 rotations using its own propulsion. Yeah, this crazy firework was pretty incredible. Number 3. The homemade Roman candle.
Okay, top 3.
Roman candles are relatively small and will let off a long, bright plume of light. However, in 2016, a Ukrainian man by the name of Yuri Yaniv decided to make a massive Roman candle that was like no other. In order to make his crazy homemade creation, he collected 10,000 sparklers and then lined them together in a massive drum garbage bin that was lined with aluminum foil. Then, after lighting a small wooden fuse that lit up multiple sparklers at once, the 50-kilogram firework went off. The result was a firework that, over the time span of about 30 seconds, launched a massive flame plume into the sky, making it pretty impressive considering the fact that it was made in Yanev's garage. According to Yanev, quote, "Everything about the video was pretty dangerous, so we had to be extremely careful of what we were setting up. One wrong move and it could have gone off. But it was the weather that proved to be the biggest problem. We had to wait till it wasn't windy so that the sparklers would actually work and not get blown out." End quote. Despite the initial problems, I think the massive height of the flame and the fact that the whole thing continued to burn for 2 hours afterwards indicates that the firework launch was a massive success. Number 2. The world's largest firework. You won't find a 1,000-kilogram firework at your local party store, making these massive fireworks exceptionally rare. Yet when it comes to pure size and mass, there is no firework in the world that is quite like the one set off at the Steamboat Springs Winter Carnival in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Set off on the night of February 9th, 2020, its weight of over 1,200 kilograms and length of 157 centimeters in diameter handed it the Guinness World
Dude, that's as big as me. I'm 5'2". Oh my god.
Record for being the world's largest aerial fireworks show, as it edged out a 1,087-kilogram firework that was launched in January of 2018 in the UAE. Now, this massive firework was created by a team known as Steamboat Fireworks, which is led by a fireworks enthusiast and pyromaniac named Tim. Known as Steamboat Fireworks, which is led by a fireworks enthusiast and pyromaniac named Tim Borden, and the team had to go through quite a lot in order to break the record. Steamboat Fireworks began its work in 2017 when they launched a shell that was 122 centimeters in diameter, with this being recognized as the largest shell ever in the Western Hemisphere. Then in 2019, they attempted to fire off an 1,100-kilogram firework, yet this ultimately failed to launch off the ground. However, in 2020, they successfully launched their record-breaking firework, which, according to Tim Borden, was only possible after they invested hundreds of hours into the project. However, given how impressive the final result was,
oh my god,
I'd say that the time commitment was totally worth it. Number 1. Blue fireworks. While you've almost certainly seen your fair share of red, orange, green, and yellow fireworks, chances are that you've never seen a blue one. And that's because from a scientific standpoint, these fireworks are extremely difficult to manufacture. Now, to understand why, you need to understand the basics of around how fireworks function. The majority of fireworks have 5 main ingredients: fuel, coloring agent, glue, fuse, and pellet. More specifically, the fuel is usually gunpowder, and the coloring agent is usually some sort of salt-based chemical compound. And in order for a firework to go off, all of these components have to be glued together, put into a pellet, and then lit with a fuse so they can be fired off. Now, when it comes to the coloring agent, most colors are pretty simple. After all, you can use sodium salts to create yellow, strontium salts for red, aluminum salts for gray, and barium salts for green. However, while copper chloride should theoretically produce blue, it doesn't always work out. That's because if the temperature gets too hot, the blue-producing chemicals in the copper chloride begin to break down and fade away. While alternatives such as arsenic were used in the past, regulators have put a lid on the use of such dangerous elements, and to this day, scientists still haven't found a commercially viable and safe way to create blue fireworks. This is made worse by the fact that there's not much incentive to make them. After all, since the sky is often some shade of blue, blue fireworks are hard to see in both the daytime and nighttime sky. So, while there are technically some extremely expensive blue fireworks out there, chances of you finding some without special connections are slim to none. Watch our binge-watching playlist if you'd like to watch all of our
that was cool. Like, I saw shit that I never heard of, like the dragon one. I had no idea that the blue ones were so hard to execute. That was actually cool. I thought it'd be stupid, but that one is actually really cool. Okay, guys. That's about all that I have for today's 4th of July stream. Hope you guys learned something. You know, we had a little bit of fun, a little bit of learning. Hope you guys know a bit more about Independence Day now. Next year, if I have friends, we'll do barbecue and fireworks, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. If I get clouded, it'll happen. Now, I think we could do calligraphy. So if you donate to the channel or use your channel points, I will write your name. I do have... Let me figure out how to capture this. Hold. Here, I'll do this. For those who don't have fireworks at home, there we go. Okay. Wow. Whoa! Look at that! Oh. Lamau. Okay. So you guys know the drill. If you donate or use your chum points, I will write your name. We did get 2 resubs today. I know today was a bit like YouTube React Andy, but I wanted to do something different for today. Cause like, if I could have done like a full 4th of July, like barbecue and everything, I would have, but it's not in the budget. So next year, guys. Yeah, finally a 1-year resub from Kobobo. Another triple sunflower badge. The fireworks are like the Subway Surfer videos. I know. I was thinking about that when I was setting up the crop here. Yeah, I'm surprised y'all didn't use more of the fireworks emote today. Honestly, an L. Once again, thank you, Kobobo, for the 1-year resub. Glad you've been here for so long. Finally, another triple sunflower badge. Fireworks color? Okay. Okay. So on Saturday, my sister and I went to go donate plasma, right? Because we're brokies. And one of our local clinics is offering a higher compensation for July. So we're like, okay, might as well try. So we were scheduled for 9:30. Okay, and we got there at 9. And obviously, since we were first-time donators, they had to do tests and screenings. So we didn't have our plasma drawn until like nearly 3 p.m. So we were waiting in the lobby for like almost 4 or 5 hours. And you're supposed to eat like right before you donate. But me and my sister ate breakfast at home at like 8-ish. So by the time we donated at like 2 p.m., 2 to 3 p.m. And also my sister got serviced first. So she finished, because plasmas, they draw blood, they centrifuge the plasma from the blood, and then they put the blood back in. Honestly, the actual abstraction of plasma wasn't that bad. You know, you just go on your phone, it's fine. But like, since my sister finished like 30 minutes before me, she got to sit for 30 minutes. And then since all the workers knew that my sister and I were together, they're like, oh yeah, you guys can just leave. You know, you peasant, you don't gotta sit and wait, you're fine. So like, okay. So me and my sister, we walked to the gas station because the bus stop was really close. So we walked to the gas station, we get food, and like, we were waiting outside in the station because inside the clinic, it's really cold. It's like almost like 45-50 degrees because they said if there's AC, like, it'll keep people awake. So anyway, so like I went from like a 45 AC building to like the 70-80 degree outside heat. So we were waiting at the bus station, and I was like fine, like walking around after, but it was okay. You guys know the deep fried memes that have like the color yellow, red, chrome correction, and everything looks kind of fuzzy. That's what I was seeing, and I was like profusely sweating. So, and I was telling my sister, I was like, I don't think we can wait at the bus stop because the bus wasn't gonna be there for like 45 minutes. Looking back, like we should have just waited in the fucking clinic. I don't know why we had to wait outside. We could have just waited in the clinic and said, hey, we gotta take a bus. So like, I almost passed out. It was bad. Like, it felt like my body, because like my normal everyday, it feels like my body's like shutting down. That's normal. But like in the moment, I felt like I was gonna like I could feel my eyes closing. My sister was, because I was wearing a mask because we were inside. But my sister was saying like my lips were like see how it's kind of pink? They were saying it was like the same color as my skin tone. They said it was very bad. So my sister got us a lift home, and then I rested the rest of the day. But I think the only problem was the time in which we had to wait for the blood to be drawn, and then also me like going outside in the fucking heat right after. Because my sister was totally fine, but I wasn't. So we're gonna be donating once a week just to see, get the bag. But it was kind of scary. But I think if I just rest for ample time after it's drawn, and also eat right before, because we hadn't eaten since 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. and we donated at like 2 p.m. So that was like a 5-hour window in which you didn't fucking eat. So yeah, that was an L. But now we know what to do. Because if I'm able to donate plasma twice a week, then I can get, it's $120 a week. Because it's $40 for first donation and then $80 for the second every week. So if I can get the $400 a month, that's game changing, you know? I can pay my student debt. And also buy things for stream. And myself, actually. I could actually like buy shit for myself. Because for the disability shit, wait, I gotta mute. That was my sister. Sorry. She wanted the soda that I pulled out earlier. She saw it. She's like, "Hey, can I have some?" Anyway, how much does it pay? Since the plasma donation centers are typically private run, they dictate their own price ranges. Nationally ranges between like $30 to like $100 per donation is the typical. Since I live in a more populous area, because my hometown does not have a plasma donation center, but the town I live in now does. It has a few actually, because the city's that big. But the amount in which you get compensated changes every month. I don't know what formally decides it, but the clinic we went to, they had like 20 beds, so that means they can take max 20 people at a time, which is kind of a lot, you know? Because the way that plasma works is it's essentially a part of your blood, and plasma is used in medicine, it's used in experimental treatments. Typically it takes 5 to 10 plasma donations to do like one form of medication they were talking about that plasma is used for. So it's very important that if you are able and you have the time, you should donate, because I think I read that plasma has to be similar to blood donations. They can't be used right away. Like, they have to be tested, they have to be screened, like depending on what type of service it's used for, it has to like be mixed with other shit and then has to sit. I don't know. But it's used for a lot of things. Because like I've been wanting to donate for a while, it's just like it was the issue of like finding a clinic near us. And also like my sister didn't want to do it, and I don't want to like donate by myself because like most people do feel like fatigued after, so it's not necessarily like super safe. Like you can still drive home after, like if you're fine, but for someone like me, it was very important that we found it like a bus route that was close to it. Because it takes like an hour by bus for us to get there. But it's like, if I'm able to go on my own, then I can. I don't know. I think, because like if most donations take, thank you for redeeming, Angie. Depending on like how long it takes for them to pump it out, because people have different levels of like how much plasma they have. What was I gonna say? Oh, like it took me about 40 minutes once I was on this red is busted. It took me about 40 minutes. But my sister, it took about like 50, I think. So like if you think about it, if it's like maybe 40 minutes having your blood drawn and maybe 30 minutes in the waiting room, that's a little under 2 hours. So even if it's only $40 per donation, that's still $20 per hour. Yeah, that doesn't include commute time, but still $20 per hour, I think pretty good. For like doing nothing, you know, just like sitting there pumping. And it's, I know you guys were saying, ooh, you're a real brokey, and it's like, yeah, I can't work. And like, if I lurk, then I lose any disability, so. Or for sure, because it already got denied. So, because the clinic we found, it has like typically higher rates than usual when compared to other clinics. Okay, chat, that was the last name of the day, last call. If you want me to write your name, all you need to do is donate to the channel or use your channel points. I am also working on the best of compilation for June. We did not get a lot of clips for the month, so I have to go back and watch VODs. Smile. Last call, last call. Also, we had one sketch card for the month of June, so I'll be drawing that along with follower journal calligraphy probably Thursday. I gotta do errands tomorrow. Okay, I got 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're done. We're done, everybody. Yeah, Mac, your picture was actually sick. The way you angled it was cool. It was a really good picture, Mac. Okay, everybody. I would like to thank you all for watching, for helping celebrate 4th of July as a real patriot would. Before I go, you guys know the drill. What is this? Is this pieceinart.myshopify.com, guys? Exclamation shop in chat. I have 4 new paintings that dropped last Friday. Go bookmark the page. Go buy paintings right now. Use code Twitch10 for $10 off your purchase today with that exclusive code. Okay. Thank you all for watching. I should be live again Thursday and then Friday. I think plan for this week is going to be Thursday, follower journal calligraphy, sketch card. Friday, I gotta do the graduation stream because it's been a week. It's literally been a week since I've graduated, so I'll do that Friday. And I think I'm gonna be busy this weekend. I'm a full-time streamer. It's gonna happen. It's gonna start next week. Before I go, make sure you all are following my YouTube channels. I have my main channel, which is youtube.com/@peacein17, and then my clips channel, which is youtube.com/@peacein17clips. I'm uploading every other day an edited clip from the channel from random streams, and then also on the main channel, maybe stream highlights coming soon. Now that I have more time since I'm out of college, maybe I'll actually sit down and edit a fucking stream. Maybe I'll do it. I'll do it. But I can't promise a video every week because I don't want to sit through a 4-hour stream and edit. That's torture. Okay. Thank y'all for hanging out. I will see you guys Thursday. Make sure you're following. Make sure notifications are turned on. And make sure you're following my Twitter. I do go live tweets. Because I know Twitch notifs can be kind of funny. Okay, bye guys. I'll see you guys Thursday. Bye-bye. Oh, I didn't change this. Wait. 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 America. Bye, Lemon. I gotta go make dinner now. That's what my sister was asking about. She's like, hey, are you gonna make dinner? Thank y'all for hanging out for holiday. I hope you guys hang out with your families later. Enjoy the fireworks. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. Do do do. Do do. Do do do. Do do. I was asking the roommates, I was like, do you guys want hamburgers or hambao today? And they were like, hambao. They're fake Americans. Okay, bye guys. I'll see you later.